Child, a child a day. Product of environments and alleyways. Like why these rappers wanna put me. There's something more dick than Sam G. I had to give it to him.
It'll go all right, Sergeant. If you don't, Brooks may have trouble with the townsmen. They're in their own hands.
I see. We can't let that sort of thing start in the Yukon.
That's right, Sergeant. Oh, when can you stop?
King and I can start right away. The sooner we get up there, the better.
That's fine. Good luck, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir. We'll do the...
All the rest of the night and through the next day, Sergeant Preston with King running alongside.
Motherfucker, what the fuck are you doing?
He was a few miles
off.
from town, riding at a leisurely pace to rest his horse and dog.
I can't do it. You gotta be
Won't
fucking
be long
kidding
before we reach 40 miles. We can all do with a good meal and a bit of rest, ain't fella? Come on.
Urged his horse into a fast.
How do I pin something if I'm full half screen on something else? What the fuck?
Well, suppose, just suppose that you happen to be in a tight spot, outside, and it's pitch dark. You need help. You need to get a message through to your friends. Now, you don't want to holler out. That might give you away to some stranger. Well, supposing you were in a spot like that, what would you do? Well, listen, girls, it'd be a cinch to get a message through safely if you owned one of our terrific new official Challenge of the Yukon two-way signal flashlight. It's a special kind of flashlight. A real flashlight that's two-way. That is, it sends out beams of red light or beams of green light. Yes, this amazing flashlight flashes red and it flashes green. It works with a simple flick of your finger, and it works much like blinker signal guns used by the Army and Navy. Yes, this secret signal flashlight has a special plastic directional signal barrel. That's to prevent strangers or outsiders from detecting your secret signal flashlight. In other words, your signals can be seen only by the person at whom they're aimed. Can you imagine anything more wonderful for sending messages? You can work out secret codes with your friends. For instance, 3 green flashes might mean help, come at once. Or 2 red flashes and 1 green might mean danger, proceed with caution. What's more, you can carry your two-way signal flashlight anywhere without anyone being the wiser. That's because it's pocket
Told me them wicks and nickels is better than
and your new official Challenge of the Yukon signal flashlight is keen looking too. All shiny black. And across the side is Sergeant Preston's name in his own handwriting. What's more, it comes complete with standard replaceable electric bulb and battery. It's the real McCoy. Now here's the only way to get one. Simply send 25 cents in coin. Think of it. Only 25 cents plus 1 box top from a package of Quaker Puffed wheat or Quaker Puffed rice. See, those are swell-tasting breakfast cereals shot from guns. Ask Mom to buy delicious wheat or rice shot from guns. And send it once for your official two-way signal flashlight. It's not on sale in stores anywhere. So send 1 box top from Quaker Puffed wheat or Quaker Puffed rice, together with 25 cents and your name and address plainly printed on a piece of paper. Mail to Flashlight, Chicago 50, Illinois. But hurry and write down that address now. It's Flashlight, Chicago 50, Illinois.
It's what? Your address cannot just be a city. What the fuck?
Now to continue our story. On his way to 40 miles, Sergeant Preston was just a few miles from the town when a distant shot was heard, and the Mountie with a cry fell from the saddle to the soft earth of the trail. A short distance away, Jake and Frank looked cautiously over the top of the ridge behind which they'd been hiding.
I hit him, Frank. He's lying on the trail and not moving.
You really got him. That big dog's looking this way and acting almost crazy. If it wasn't for all that swampy muskeg between here and there.
Don't worry, there's no way he can get to us. Come on, let's mount him right away from there.
The dog's gonna kill him.
Steady there, Morty. All right, get up, get him.
Dogs don't make the mistakes people do. That dog will
For a few minutes after the 2 gunmen rode away, Sergeant Preston lay without moving. And then slowly he pushed himself to his elbows. head. Stunned me for a minute.
Crease. A permanent mark? Seriously?
Guess the shot came from there, right there. That muskeg kept you from getting to them. You find their ambush wall. I'll be all right now, fella. Keep our eyes open. Here I'm into town, though. You know. We'll try to get to Brooks' cabin without being seen. They think they killed me, so much the better. Let's go, King. Get up there.
A lot of people think they're dead, so damn.
A short time later, Jake and Frank rode up to the back door of the cafe.
Go there. Come on. Jed will be waiting for the news.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you got back sooner than I expected. How'd you make out?
Judd, your worries about Sergeant Preston are
It's
over.
Canadianism right there. How'd you
Yeah.
make out?
We went to that place along the trail I mentioned and waited a while. Then he came along on his horse with that big dog trotting alongside.
Did he fight back? I mean, did you manage to...
One bullet did it. Took him right out of the saddle. He's lying up there on the trail right now, dead. Guess somebody will come along and find his body before morning.
Good work, Jake. Good work. That big dog of Preston was carrying on something awful when we rode away. Good thing he couldn't get to us. He'd have torn us apart.
Well, we don't have to worry about either Preston or the dog.
Yeah, you should be suspicious right now as to why that dog hasn't got to you
cafe
yet.
before somebody starts
That would be
asking for you.
suspicious.
All right. Come on, Frank. See you later, Jed.
If anyone comes in and reports about Sergeant Preston, let me know.
Damn it, what the fuck is that?
Sergeant Preston managed to reach Constable Brooks' cabin on the edge of town without anyone being seen. After having food and rest, two Mounties sat down to discuss the situation.
What qualifies as
Who
food?
knew I was coming to 40 Mile?
Practically everyone, Sergeant. You see, they had a meeting, and I told them I'd send for you.
I see. Whoever shot at me thinks I'm done for. They couldn't get to me to make sure because of the muskeg. That's the reason King couldn't go after them. I must have been lying there stunned for several minutes.
Do you think someone in town is behind this game?
It's that way to me, Bill. That someone who's in a position to know everything that goes on here.
Well, that could apply to a good many. Things aren't kept very secret around town. Practically everyone discusses his business in the cafe.
I see. Look, Bill, suppose I stay here undercover for a while. You go to the cafe and keep your ears open. Someone might drop a remark that would give us a line on the man who shot me.
All right, Sergeant.
The counter's
I go over there right now.
The counter, man.
See you later, Sergeant.
I've still got lots of
It was over an hour later when the constable returned to the cabin where Sergeant Preston was waiting with King. Well, Bill, anything happened at the cafe while you were there?
Something was said that might mean a lead, Sergeant.
Huh? Tell me about it.
Well, I went into the cafe. A man named Jake, who does part-time barkeeping there, started a conversation.
The fuck just happened?
Well, Constable, when's that Mountie coming here from Dawson? The one that has the big dog with him all the time. Sergeant Preston? Yeah, that's the one I heard you were going to have come here. To tell the truth, I've been expecting him all afternoon. Maybe he's not even coming. He might be away from Dawson City, you know. Oh, I would have been notified, or they'd at least send someone else in that case. If that gang sees him on the trail, they're liable to waylay him. You never can tell. Sergeant Preston can take care of himself. Like you said, he has that big dog with him.
Hey, Jake. Just let the constable do his own worrying. That Mountie's coming from Dawson. He'll get here sooner or later. He'll get busy with a customer.
Oh, yeah, sure, Mr. Kemper. I was just interested like everybody else, that's all.
The fellow Jake seemed interested in whether I'd get here or not, eh?
That's right, Sergeant. And Judd Kemper, the owner of the cafe and the bank, came up and told Jake to get busy. He didn't seem to want Jake talking.
That's worth thinking about.
Yeah,
As owner of the cafe and of the bank, Kemper would be in a position to... Bill, do you think you could get the express clerk to
he would
cooperate?
know
with me?
everything, but he would also want
Yeah.
that motherfucker back at
I'm
work
sure
no
he
matter
would,
what.
yeah.
He's a prick.
Tell you
Guaranteed.
about my plan. Now, I want you to go talk to the express clerk and have him do and say exactly what I tell you.
Oh,
After listening to Sergeant Preston's plan, the constable went to the express office carrying 2 small sacks, such as prospectors use to transport gold. A short time later, the express clerk entered the cafe and approached Jake.
Drain
How's that shoulder wound of yours coming along, Bob? No, it's all right. It's almost healed up by now. Lucky that gang didn't gun you down for good. That's right. Looking for a constable. Have you seen him? He was in here about an hour ago. Haven't seen him since. Guess he rode off to do some snooping around after that gang he's after. Hey, what's up? You look worried.
Oh, nothing much. I'm going home to get something to eat. If a constable comes in here, ask him to wait around till I come back on the way to the express office, will you?
Well, sure, I'll tell him. Haven't got a line on that gang, have you? The one that robbed you?
No. Only I don't want to be robbed again, that's all. I'll be back in about an hour or so.
Guess I'd better talk to Kemper.
Yes, come in. What's up, Jake?
The express clerk was just in looking for the constable.
What for?
He wouldn't say. He's on the way to his cabin to eat. Be gone about an hour, he said.
Well,
I got an idea from the way he talked that he's got another shipment of gold down there in that old safe at the express office.
all that from that.
I'll get
eh?
Frank and Joe to come in here with you. It's a chance I didn't expect so soon.
About 20 minutes later, Sergeant Preston, with King and the constable, waited in hiding behind the woodshed in back of the express office. Finally, they heard hoofbeats coming along the back way.
Quiet, fella, quiet. There we come. They're wearing handkerchief masks like the gang is said to wear. Yes, Bill.
Handkerchief masks.
Frank, you come in with me.
All right.
Joe, you stay here and watch for anyone coming. Let's go. Easy, King.
From their hiding place, the two men and King watched as the men forced the back door and entered the express office. King looked expectantly at Sergeant Preston, but the Mountie gave no order or signal to attack, so the great dog waited tense but quiet. After several minutes had elapsed, the crooks left the express office carrying the two sacks.
Hunch was a good one, all right. Let's get away from here, quick.
All right, steady there, boys. Get up.
Let's get to our horses, Bill.
Right.
I couldn't see the horses from the other side of the building. I'll follow them behind. I hope we get them before we get steady there, fellas.
After them, gang. Come on, now.
A few minutes later, Preston and the other Mountie pulled rein a short distance from the back door of the cafe.
Those are the horses they rode all right. And King's sleeping at the back door.
Yeah. Now what, Sergeant?
You go around the front and into the cafe. Try to make your way unobserved to the office door and keep your gun handy.
All right. What about you and King?
We'll go to the back door. When you hear a commotion, go in ready for trouble. Get going, then.
All right, Sergeant.
Waiting until the constable had had time to get into the cafe from the front, Sergeant Preston cautiously approached the back door, and warning King to be quiet, he stood listening. Meantime,
What is
inside,
dog?
Jake and the others were talking to Judge Kemper.
What's it do? It
Just
makes
like
one
I
noise.
said,
You tell
Mr.
it,
Kemper.
doesn't it?
Those 2 sacks of gold there on your desk were in the safe ready to be shipped.
Are you sure nobody saw you coming in here?
Nobody saw us at all, boss. We made sure of that. We can go out front again and nobody can prove we ever left the cafe.
Yeah, that's right. It was the easiest job we ever pulled, Mr. Kemper. That express clerk's going to be surprised when he goes to get that gold out.
Yeah. Say, how about giving us our split right now, Mr. Kemper? What's more, I think we should get more of a share than we've been getting.
Yeah, Jake's right, we should. We take all the chances and you grab most of the things.
Now, listen to me, you greedy fools. You'll take what I give you, and that's all. I'm the one who figures out the jobs and gets the lowdown on where you can get plenty of gold.
Quiet down.
You're the one that gets the
And
felony
don't
murder
come in here
charge.
whining about what you get.
Rico, what?
I'll give you the share you're to get from this job right now. Say, what's this?
Hey, what's the matter?
Yeah, what's wrong?
Look at what's in this sack. Wait, look. Oh, look at that smoke. Filled with little stones and
keep
dirt.
saying-
Let me see
Stealing.
that other sack. Hey, this one's filled the same way. We've been fooled.
Oh, no, I've been fooled. Now, where's the gold you got at the express office? Where is it?
Let's see here. Take it easy. Those are the sacks we found there in the safe. We brought them straight here.
That's right.
That's a lie. You substituted these for the ones you stole from the safe. The express clerk wouldn't want the constable to help guard a couple of sacks of dirt and pebbles.
Take it easy. You're the one who always told us what to do. You told us how to get that Mountie Preston in spite of his dog, too.
I have a good mind to turn you all in as the
Yeah.
gang. Tell him you murdered Preston.
Why,
Someone's
okay.
bound to find his body before the night's over. This gun says you'll come across with the 2 sacks of gold.
Never.
Drop the gun, the Monty.
First, I'll get you, Preston.
Well, you don't. Oh, hey, you heard us talking. Shoot him. Get him, King.
You heard us talking.
Jake went for his gun. The great dog King lunged forward like a great streak of lightning, grabbing his gun arm and knocking him off his feet.
Shout, Joe. Step away. Get him, King. I'll take this one, Sergeant. Let's go. I'm getting out of here. Not so fast, Joe. I give up. I give up, Preston. Easy, King. My boy.
Well, Sergeant, your plan worked.
Well, I don't understand.
Sergeant Preston's wise, Kemper. After he was shot at, he came into town secretly. He guessed somebody here was leader of the gang, and he planted those bags of dirt at the express office. Then we sent the express clerk in to talk to Jake.
Yeah, Jake was a fool to be taken in by him.
You're the fool, Kemper, to think you could get away with your robberies and killings. I'm sure the constable overheard what was said in here.
That's right, I did,
Kemper planned everything. He's the one who even planned shooting you on the trail.
We know all about it now.
Kemper even had you rob his own bank, taking the money that belonged to the townspeople. Now they'll get it all back.
Sergeant, I knew if you came here, you and King would find this gang.
We're glad we could help,
Well, the
Bill.
bank's not insured.
Now, as far as King and I are concerned,
Oh,
this case is closed.
bank. Oh,
In just a moment, Sergeant Preston will give you a preview of Friday's adventure. Fellas and girls, remember, you can have one of our wonderful new official Challenge of the Yukon two-way signal flashlights.
That's the amazing special kind of flashlight. A real flashlight that sends off beams of red light or beams of green light.
It's out of this world for sending secret codes and messages.
But please keep this in mind so you won't be disappointed. We've only a very limited supply.
Send tonight. Mail 25 cents. That's just 1 quarter and 1 box top from delicious Quaker Puffed Wheat or Quaker Puffed Rice.
Include your name and address and send to Flashlight, Chicago 50, Illinois.
The address is Flashlight, Chicago 50, Illinois. These radio dramas, a feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, are created and produced by George W. Trendle, directed by Fred Flowerday, and supervised by Charles D. Livingston. The part of Sergeant Preston is played by Paul Sutton. They are brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the same time by Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns. Listen Friday when Sergeant Preston and Yukon King meet the Challenge of the Yukon in the case Music Hall Murder.
Trigger Bill Desmond was probably the best shot in the territory. And it was because of that he was accused of murder. It was a good thing for King and me that we were able to clear him, because it was Trigger Bill Desmond's sharpshooting that saved both our lives.
Be sure to hear this exciting adventure Friday. Till then, this is J. Michael wishing you goodbye, good luck, and good health from Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice. So long. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
wow. I knew there was.
You're listening to Chin Radio AM 1540, the voice of multicultural.
Not anymore.
That's right. Well, now that's what I call a wonderful alibi, Sergeant. Too bad there wasn't anyone else around to substantiate it.
Oh, but there was, Mr. Berry. A justice of the peace named Smith over in Jersey. I think he might recall her.
Why should he?
Because I gave him $100 to perform the marriage ceremony that made Norma here Mrs. Lyle. I guess you should remember that, don't you?
This is Ed Hurley again, friends, and I'd like to help you find out about the 9 most delicious cheese spreads you'd ever want to taste.
What?
They're the 9 famous cheese spreads made by Kraft. They're delightfully mild-tasting ones, such as Kraft Pineapple Cheese Spread, Kraft Olive Pimento, and Kraft Relish. And there are sharp-tasting ones, too, like Roca, Smokell,
So you
and
tried all
Kraft
this shit
Limburger
before,
cheese
and
spreads.
you couldn't
All
sell
of
it.
them are mighty good to eat. And they're good for you.
Didn't
to
they
eat,
try
too,
releasing all
because
those
they're
again as
wholesome
new
dairy
shit?
food made from only the finest ingredients.
For quick, easy snacks and sandwiches, keep your refrigerator stocked with several of the 9 delicious Kraft cheese spreads.
Your products don't go bad, and we know it.
Now, back to the adventures of the Falcon. A half hour has passed since Norma Davis and Raymond Lyons punctured Mike's theory by coming up with an unbreakable alibi. Now, as Mike tries
Holocaust survival spread.
Doesn't make sense, Corbett. I tell you, it doesn't make sense. Hey, will you watch where you're driving? Something screwy about that marriage. You saw the license? Well, doesn't it strike you as strange that within 12 hours after her husband is murdered, Mrs. Davis marries another man? Of course it does. There's no law against it. No, but an alibi like that must have a hole in it. Yeah, you show me where. After you do that, show me how either Mrs. Davis or Lyons could have murdered Hudson. With the physical impossibility for Morgan to kill him, it applies to them, too. Oh, hold everything. What's the matter? Oh, what a chump I've been. Well, they say confession is good for the soul. I tell you, I've got the answer to the whole thing, Sergeant. That on the level? Yes. I know now who killed Hudson. And with the help of Chuck Morgan, I'm going to prove it. Driving at, Mike. I don't know anything about Mrs. Davis except what I told you before. Well, how did you discover she was seeing Raymond Lyons? I didn't know it was Lyons. All Hudson told me was that it was some man. Mm-hmm. How well did you know Hudson? I met him for the first time today. He got in touch with one of my friends and said he wanted to see me. Well, that puts us right back where we started. Look, Mike, why don't we drop the whole business? Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, sure. The cops know now that I couldn't have killed Hudson. That's where you're wrong. You mean they still No, they don't. But I do. What are you babbling about? Morgan, I know how you managed it. Do you? Yes, it was pretty clever. I can't blame myself for not seeing it sooner. No wonder you insisted I go up and see Hudson. I'm still waiting to hear you explain how I killed him. Well, I'm saving that for the cops. Ah, don't kid yourself, Mike. You've done all the talking you're going to. All right, put away the gun, Morgan. You only got to be sucker enough to come here alone. Funny, I don't see anyone around. You're not looking in the right places. What? Get down, Mike. I'm warning you, Morgan. You better throw your gun in the middle of the road. You want it, Sergeant? Come here.
What is those gunshots?
Watch it, Mike. Maybe acting. You know, with that hole in his forehead, Corbett, it doesn't call for much ability. I think you better phone the coroner.
He got so casually, they just killed him.
You drop me over the corner, Sergeant. Well, it's been great. Hold it, Mike. Aren't you forgetting something? I've got a report to make. Who's stopping? You are. Oh. Well, you know that Morgan killed Red Davis. Sure. I was the first one to say so. You should have stuck to your guns. Well, when you tossed in that razzle-dazzle about Hudson's murder, you threw me. Yeah, well, don't feel too badly about it. I was right with you. Of course, I'm reconstructing now, but this is what must have happened. Lyons tried to hire Hudson to bump Red. Hudson said he'd think it over. When Red was killed, Hudson knew immediately that if he hadn't done it, Morgan must have. I don't see how that follows. It could have been Lyons. If Lyons were willing to do the job, why did he approach Hudson in the first place? No, it had to be Morgan. When Hudson realized that, he tried to shake down Morgan. He even told Morgan that if the price were right, he might be induced to frame Red's wife. So Morgan played along with him and asked him to get in touch with me. Now we're coming to the part I want to hear. But when Chuck went to meet Hudson, he knew it would be the first of many such meetings, unless he took steps. So he slipped a slow-acting drug into Hudson's drink. Why didn't he kill him then and there and be done with it? Because he needed an alibi, and I was it. I don't get it. He needed someone with him while he murdered Hudson. What? Sure. Remember you said it was a physical impossibility for anyone to get into that room and kill Hudson before Morgan and I broke down the door? Yeah. Well, there you hit the nail right on the head. It was a physical impossibility. So it means that Hudson was killed while I was in the room. Let me get this straight. You mean while you were hunting for the light switch? Morgan was hunting for a place to plant his knife. Wasn't he taking quite a chance there? Oh. Hudson was drugged, so he couldn't make an outcry. And the knife makes no noise at all. Well, that'll learn you. The next time I say something, you'll listen. I told you Morgan was the killer all along. Yeah, well, you'll have to forgive me. I've been hearing so many radio shows. I forgot it wasn't unconstitutional for a cop to be right. Let's hope this establishes some sort of a precedent.
Oh, yeah, sometimes the cop really does just do his shots. Oh, I'll plead not guilty. I never had no drugs, nothing, but yeah, sometimes.
Superb as a flavor shortened. It's Parquet Margarine, that marvelous all-purpose margarine made by Kraft. Yes, millions prefer Parquet to any other spread, seasoning or shortening for one big reason. It tastes so good. And it tastes so good because it's always fresh. In states where the law permits, get yellow Parquet in its new aluminum foil Flavor Saver wrap. Elsewhere, get the regular package or color quick bag. Get Parkay, Parquet Margarine made by Kraft.
That's the other thing.
It tastes so good. The Case of the Gangster's Girl. The Case of the Gangster's Girl. That's the title of next week's adventure of the Falcon, when Mike Waring learns that somebody who starts out to be a stool pigeon is likely to end up being a dead pigeon. So be sure to listen at the same time next week to another exciting adventure of the Falcon.
This is the Crime and Suspense Channel from the Rocket Classic Radio Network.
Do I always get up at 2 in the fucking morning? Like, is this normal for me? I don't know.
The time is now 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time.
Listen up, young lug. You're listening to the Crime and Suspense Channel on the Rocket Classic Radio Network. So you better listen good. Understand?
It sounded like they recreated the speaker with the shitty housing, the housing travel.
Hey.
Sounds good. Suspense, the body snatchers. It sucked. Do you think it's any better as a radio show? Let's get the fuck out of here. I should have rolled the joint while I had the chance. 7 noon, Radio Metropole. There's some crazy old black thing rocking her name. Probably a whole bunch of them too. Okay, chin, you get a second chance.
Pretty rough on the hands. Thanks, Marshal. I'll make sure to take better care of them. Yeah, do that.
Marshal.
I'll be around a while, Marshal.
Marshal.
Maybe we can have another talk. Anytime. They'd need watching. But what I wanted now was a white buffalo hide. Searching the wagons wouldn't do. There wasn't time, and a search had let the killers know that something in the hides they'd stolen could be identified. The time to find out would be when the buyers checked them. I got Biggs and Chester to cover 2 of the unloading barns, and I covered the 3rd one. Then finally daylight came, and the haggling started.
You want to sell those hides? You learn how to handle these skinning knives a little better. They're as good as any. That's full of holes, they ain't. Give you $4 a hide for the bunch. You gave that last fellow 8. He looks tougher than you. 6. I'll take 6. 4.
Shoot him.
You think you can rob me, mister? Watch your mouth, boy.
Here, none of that.
Let me go!
Easy, son. No! Let me have that gun just so you won't be tempted. Here, that's better.
Give me that. Give it back.
You can pick it up at my office whenever you're ready to leave town. Now, you look like a city boy to me. Where are you from? St. Louis?
None of your business.
When something's got you beat, son, there's no shame to admitting it and going home. Sometimes that takes a real man.
Don't tell me what to do. Why don't you watch your own job? Why don't you leave me alone, Marshal? I ain't got a white buffalo hide.
What'd you say, boy?
You heard me.
What do you know about a white buffalo hide?
What everybody else knows. That you're looking for one. Everybody in town knows it.
How?
Because the old man whose sons were bushwhacked all liquored up over at the other barn, shooting off his mouth. Don't go away mad, Marshal.
Mr. Biggs wasn't at the barn where I'd left him. I cut through an alley to Front Street and headed for the saloons.
Front
I never
Street.
got to him.
Mr. Dillon! Mr. Dillon!
You have alleys? Get the
What's the
fuck
matter,
out of
sister?
here.
Old man Big. Where is he? I'm looking for him.
Fields and nothing
He's
grows
over
there
the barn
because it's
now,
hell.
watching. Drunk. Going through the wagon. Yeah, I know about that.
Temperature scale inverted. That's
Trying to get him to go back to his own barn, but all of a sudden he took off.
Or where?
I don't know, but there was one wagon he was watching in particular. The driver walked away from him with a package of some kind.
That white hide?
It could have been, I don't know, but Big sure thought so. He lit out after the fellow with blood in his eye.
Which way?
Down there where the boy's been hitching the M2 wagon.
Well, let's go.
Old boy's drunk enough to make trouble and he's liable to kill somebody.
Or get killed. Yeah. It came from there behind that row of wagons. You stay here, Chester.
Be careful, Mr. Dillon.
I want to see some real love, like old school
wagon,
19
Big
whatever.
was across the wagon, time his eyes red and open, staring at the ground. And standing over him was Tennessee.
The
Smile on his
untold,
face.
unseen history.
His gun extended to me butt first. Looks like I'm in mighty trouble, Marshal. He's dead, Tennessee. That's more than a mite. You take my gun for a while. You mean until after you hang? Wasn't figuring to be that serious. Not when a drunk follows me out here and throws down on me. If you're figuring on self-defense, forget it. Look at his gun. It isn't even cocked. What's out of his holster, Marshal? That's enough. Law don't say I have to wait till he kills me. You have to make a jury believe that.
No, I shouldn't have much trouble doing that, Marshal.
What are you doing here, Mr. Kell?
Oh, I just happened to follow Tennessee out here.
Why?
Well, you broke up our little argument in town. Thought I'd get him alone here. If maybe he was still nursing a grudge he wanted to settle. But the old man beat me to it. Now, Tennessee here ain't exactly a friend of mine, as you know, but I hate to see any man hang when he ain't guilty.
Is that your personal verdict, Mr. Kell?
That's right, Marshal. The old man threw down on him, and Tennessee had to kill him in self-defense.
Chester?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Which one of them had the package?
This one. This is the fellow the old man was after.
All right, Tennessee, where is it?
I don't know anything about a package.
Look in the wagon, Chester. See anything?
Nothing here.
I reckon you can give my gun back to me now. All right, Tennessee. Here. Thanks. But if you decide to use it again while you're in Dodge or any place else in Kansas...
You're in Kansas now.
I hope I'm there when you do. Well, now, don't you fret, Marshal. I'm sure you will be.
I can't use them down with the freaking gun. It's 416 in the morning.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment.
Oh, is that what the fuck
But
this
first,
is?
Action, excitement, thrill.
No,
That's
here's the
Gangbusters.
problem. Here's the problem. It's the
Gangbusters
same
help
fucking
to fight
story
crime
every
by
fucking
fearlessly
episode.
naming the criminals. Listen for it later this evening on CBS Radio.
Okay,
Now the second.
Oh, fuck. 2008 CRI, let's see, is this MP4?
前知道自己是前置胎盘，他们说有可能就是
Say order line, say order line.
就是有可能甚至是就躺在血泊当中了。
The placenta has the greatest blood flow in the uterus. Unlike normal pregnant women, Jiao Yang's placenta is at the mouth of the cervix.
See what my hair just did?
Exit. A natural childbirth will inevitably tear the placenta and cause a fatal hemorrhage.
It depends, is she annoying?
To guarantee the safety of the mother and child, doctors have decided to perform a cesarean section.
We'll adopt some conventional methods. If they fail, we'll consider a hysterectomy. There's a big risk of hemorrhage. It's inevitable.
Normally, 30% blood loss will put a person's life at risk.
Oh, this is the
Experienced obstetricians know very well that the biggest enemy in this operation is a massive hemorrhage.
Modern hospital, they don't even talk
Today,
about
the
it.
most
It
common
is.
method surgeons use to deal with excessive blood loss during surgery is the blood transfusion. However, just over 120 years ago, this was absolutely unimaginable. Doctors back then did try to inject blood into the human body to save the dying, but it often led to severe consequences.
With all this trade
Most of these patients mysteriously died after showing symptoms such as fever, pain, or dark-colored urine. The low success rate left the doctors confused.
It is dead blood source from experience and stuff, by the way. Everything
It was not until 1900 that the renowned Austrian physician and biologist Karl Landsteiner discovered the secret of human blood groups.
846. That's like channel A and B, I think. The main CRI channels, I think.
Risk. Experienced obstetricians know very well that the biggest enemy in this operation is a massive hemorrhage.
You're gonna die.
Today, the most common method surgeons use to deal with excessive blood loss during surgery is the blood transfusion. However, just over 120 years ago, this was absolutely unimaginable. Doctors back then did try to inject blood into the human body to save the dying, but it often led to severe consequences. Most of these patients mysteriously died after showing symptoms such as fever, pain, or dark-colored urine. The low success rate left the doctors confused. It was not until 1900 that the renowned Austrian physician and biologist Karl Landsteiner discovered the secret of human blood groups.
What does Landsteiner mean? I don't like it when you use those words because what they mean.
This scene under a microscope with a magnification of 400 shows what happens when we mix two different blood groups. The invaded blood quickly produces a large number of Y-shaped antibodies that attack the entering blood. This reaction results in blood coagulation and eventually death.
I'm confused. Why does the invade dead blood
Conducting a similar experiment, Karl Landsteiner figured out the reason for why blood transfusions failed so often. He went on to establish a blood grouping system. Landsteiner's research made it safe to transfuse blood between two people.
After that, people learned that blood falls into groups A, B, AB, and O. This also meant progress in surgical skills, as there would be no more rejection reaction. In fact, the discovery of blood groups was a critical milestone for the development of surgical technology.
Oh yeah, because people bleed a lot when you cut them open.
Despite this discovery, blood transfusion technology did not become widespread straight away. In 1914, the outbreak of World War I and the use of new weapons caused unprecedented damage. At that time, people did not know how to preserve blood, so transfusions could only be carried out on a one-to-one basis, and this was impractical on the battlefield. As a result, many wounded soldiers did not receive transfusions in time, and thus lost their lives.
You give my blood, you're gonna die.
Facilitated scientific study. An exhibition on medical treatment in World War I is being held at the London Science Museum in Britain. One of the displays is a blood transfusion device used in the war.
We've got 3 tubes going into this bottle. One of them and 2 needles. One of the needles is put into the donor, so blood comes out of the donor, goes into the tube with the preservative to keep it fresh. Then you take it to the patient, you put the other needle into them, and you pump away on that little pump there, and that forces the blood into the person who needs the blood.
There wouldn't be a doctor doing it. It'd be the lowest orderly they have.
After the outbreak of World War I, professional blood preservation equipment was developed, making it no longer necessary to collect blood on the battlefield.
What was the Red Cross doing?
Researchers also added sodium citrate to blood to preserve it and prevent coagulation. The injured could finally receive timely and effective blood transfusions, giving them the greatest chance of survival.
No, that just means you can start to operate on them and might maybe not.
Today, of course, blood transfusions are used widely in hospitals and have become the most common first aid measure in the operating room.
Careful, careful. I'm worried she may bleed too much. This part is quite thin. It's nearly transparent.
The blood vessels in Xiao Yang's placenta are stretched tight and they could break at the slightest touch. Despite using every means,
Is this the radio station they listen to in the Mushroom Kingdom? Oh. Who's that? Very risky, I guess. Let's throw this from Texas, too. That's not listed anywhere as a symptom. Does your skin crawl? Well, yes, in fact, it does. And the correct medication they're supposed to give you is heroin. Why the fuck am I having this argument with supposedly educated, non-racist people?
Hi, this is Squint from lparchive.org, and you're listening to WTMK, All Mario Radio.
TMK is the Mushroom Kingdom. There's W, Wario, not Mario.
Visit us at www.themushroomkingdom.net.
W, TMK, you just said it, the Mushroom Kingdom. Wario, not Mario. Oh, it was a long time. Japanese move. Oh, Whoa, that was almost good. Hold on. What did you just do? Levels are like 2.5 to 4 minutes long. So don't pay you for more than 4 minutes. The thing that dropped us from the American music industry without even questioning why is it just sets the attention span of the average American entertainment consumer. They don't have the track listed telling us which level, what grade. You should email them and tell them to do that. What the fuck is this? I know this too. You copied something. Everything else I put in on's been so worse. This is too good. Doesn't feel like the Allied imperial forces are rising up to kill off the rebel communist invaders or whatever. This is the same Hong Kong kid from CRI. Seriously? What kind of mushrooms you get is the Mushroom Kingdom? They never really specify. Are they Italian? They never really specify. On the TV show, the stereotype accent was Italian. That's not in the video game, is it? Mario first appears in a Donkey Kong game. What this monkey thing. And I saw that person, Roseanne was talking about that person who looked like how come that's wrong? But you can dress Michael, what's his name, up as Worf. Oh, we're not gonna. We're gonna make the racial slur, but we're gonna dress you up just all sort of African without being black. Can you do that? I don't speak French, that'll get people upset. Speak Klingon, yeah, can make up a language. Oh, classic. You can't even get this old, you can. They're selling the NVIDIA system for like $89 or something. And fade to black. Yes. Hey, we mean black. What the hell? I need that for the alarm on this thing.
Oh no!
Oh fuck, didn't we go through the they ruin all the fairy tales? Oh, whose kid is whose for that? Rapunzel. What inspired you with this one? Oh, my Casio got frozen and started skipping one morning. You didn't steal this from Texas bullshit. Russian defectors contributed, right? Russia violated North Korea or something.
Niggas is better than me. Got the stuff in me. I don't see my enemies a miles away. Mother Nature had a child today. Product of environments and alleyways. Like why these rappers want.
Well, we fucking get some. This pause function.
Plan me. They told me them Wicks and niggas is better than me. They told me them G-Way niggas is better than me. They told me them Reacher niggas is better than me. Got this devil in me. I don't see my enemies in miles away. Mother Nature had a child today. Product of environments and alleyways. Like why these rappers wanna blame me? They suck more dick than Sam G. I had to give it to him. Yeah, I had to give it to him. About 5 times my drama made the notes in my videos. Won't get
okay, now I gotta go fucking refresh my memory on the whole Dogma of Super Mario Bros.
That's where the demons walk. Rats with barrels by their meter long. Tears in your eyes when you see your mom. Let the boys not free, but open freedom come. Go against me, some Mac versus a BB gun.
I think it's the Yakuza's homage to the Italian Mafia. The Black Hand Rose game. Against the governing forces, no matter how much hot air they speak.
With Down syndrome.
Even that with a wrench.
They're like 5 foot nothing. Watch out. Get slapped down, survive a shot, then my nigga swinging back round, then you go, and then I'm at go ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic, go ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic. So emotional, niggas suspicious, trust that they mostly hoes, making them kick rocks and up and dose. I rock your roads, try and take us for no poppy show. 50,000 views gon' gas them up like Escalades, the best of days. Give a fuck about responses, push that brand up past your tonsils. They tell me put them ducks away, okay, cause ain't even free yet. My soldiers with the posters, that's something they didn't free yet. Fuck your punchlines, I bust nines and nut shot by accident. I'm natural, no practicing. Baptized in blood, bring the Catholics in. This is light work, so why you panicking? Lyrical homicide for hoodlums. Fuck your niggas over, then your hood comes. Just remember where Scarborough your hood's from. These niggas looking like pom-pom. Yo, some boy, they better watch out. Get slapped down, survive a shot, then my niggas swinging back round, then you go, and then I'm at go ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic, go ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic. Get slapped down, then you go, and then I'm at go ring, and then I'm at go ring. Them niggas just so melodramatic.
It's HB.
you stupid junk. Special on the #1 hot stun phone call. Go somewhere, hot bitches roll up, go bitches, so what? Know what? My flows bucket, toes up, so what? My nose up, your cash down, no doubt about it. Make the bitches scream, make you wanna pull it out. Limo, I be up and out, it's just all up in the fire. Shining like stars, they know who we are. They know who I am, motherfucker, from the taste. They know who I am, motherfucker, get it. Hey. Some motherfucking mafia. They come home tonight. Nah, they come home tonight. I got some dogs doing 5 trying to see the light, but they ain't coming home tonight. I got some dogs doing 10 trying to see the light, but they ain't coming home tonight. I got some dogs doing life trying to see the light, but they ain't coming home tonight. They paid the price, gave their life, they had to sacrifice, and they ain't coming home tonight. Free up all the dogs that ain't coming home tonight. I got you back, what you need, I will pay the price. I got you family, anything that fucking need. I'll hold you down until you're free. Hold you down till you're free. Hold you down till you're free. I know that you sacrifice, so I'll hold it down. That's why we pay the price.
How can the whole world be on night programming at the same time? That's not right. Somebody's lying to us. Somebody's lying to us. It's 4:45 in the morning now. Someone's trying to run all these rerun things. Oh no, somebody's fucking with us. Yeah, both sides of the world are running the nighttime programming at the same time. There's something wrong with that. Let's go back to Super Mario. At least they won't. What's the lesson you learned from Super Mario Brothers? Sometimes you gotta eat some mushrooms and smash a guy in the head with a pipe. Is this Richie Houghton or John Aquaviva? Holy fuck. No, we're not encouraging you to do mushrooms. No. They're shitty, but they will work if we really wanted to. The thought of doing those mushrooms just kept me resupplying myself with weed. I won't throw them out. What the fuck is this? This makes me think that this isn't ethnic music, this is ethnic cleansing music. What kind of human is this?
В форме. Вот я поехал на Дальний Восток, но, к сожалению, старик этот уже умер. Поехал к краеведам в музей и вот рассказал об этом старике. Они сказали, что он известен. А потом они говорят, вот вы приехали из Беларуси, а у нас есть дневник некого трубника, который был в партизанской диверсии.
Red Congolese in Red China. Oh, don't make those jokes. They're all speaking French.
На группе во время войны в Беларуси.
Working for a British company.
Frank
Race. What's that for?
You'll find out.
Look, why don't you pick up the phone and call British and Colonial? They'll certify me.
I'm simply not interested.
Maybe you have some reason for not wanting to make the call. What's the matter?
42.
I vote for Owens.
He wasn't around, so I thought I'd show something wrong.
I want this man thrown out of here. Imagine you can do it just as well as Owens can.
You ought to make a good try. He's big enough. Well, thanks, both of you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry.
What the?
You don't need to throw him out. Just ask him to leave, will you?
Will you leave, fella? To a request like that, the answer couldn't be anything else but yes.
What the
Go to the door with him, Jerry.
Cross the
The back door.
Come on, fella, before Owens moves in. Owens sounds tough. He
Tell me these
is.
people
He
didn't have
serves the
dirty
commander in
minds.
the
All
war.
they did.
He'd be tough even in Jersey City. All I did was tell the girl how nice looking she was. Women. She sometimes gets peeved with me when I tell her the same thing, and I'm her fiance. She's been upset. One of her partners was killed yesterday. I know. That's what I wanted to talk to her about. You're not a cop, insurance investigator. Do you know if Miss Kennedy has any French friends? French? There's one girl in particular, dark, beautiful, comes from Bordeaux. You got me. I could ask Leslie. I suggested that he leave it for a lighter mood, and he nodded. He stood talking to me in the open doorway that opened out of a small side street. Big fellow with a stock-and-bond suit and a grin to match. Told me his name was Dayton. And as we talked, someone approached us from across the street. A little man, slim, with a black mustache that glistened in the light of the nearby street lamp.
Is it possible that from one of you gentlemen I might procure a cigarette?
Jerry Dayton nodded and reached into a pocket. I watched the little man carefully with the feeling that there was something wrong here. Dayton produced a pack of cigarettes and a box of safety matches. The Frenchman took one of the smokes. Dayton struck a match for him. The little man stared up at both of us for an instant, then nodded toward the shadows behind him. Instantly, clawing fingers converged on us, several of them opposing him savagely. Dayton and I were jammed against the wall, but something hit me in the forehead, a jabbing, blinding blow. I was pushed down, slugged again and again and again, until I went whirling into a giant drain of spinning blackness.
Why are you waving around this going clack, 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 clack? What the fuck is that? Look, every type of noisemaker in the world in that little room is. They just sit there smoking dope. How can I make
We'll
it sound
return to
like
the
this? How can I
adventures
make it
of
sound
Frank
like that?
Race in just about 1 minute.
1950, February 12th, or December 2nd, because it might have been that stupid. It shouldn't have been that.
And now back to the adventures of Frank Race.
Blackfriars Bridge. Is the friar is black?
Throbbing head
Is he
and a
evil or
roaring
is
in
he
my ears.
dark skin?
The first I could understand, but it took me a moment or so to realize that the roaring sound was a car engine. I managed to groan, and Mark Donovan spoke from the front seat.
All right, take it easy. Just stay relaxed.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm hoiding this flying bedstead back to the apartment where I will care for your battered body.
Pull over to the curb right now.
All right.
We're not into that body boy shit.
What happened back there?
All I know is that I was at one of the roulette tables when there comes a hullabaloo from outside. So I dashes out with several other people.
Thinking it.
There you are,
Probably you.
unconscious on the sidewalk. When I heard if some cops hadn't barreled up just in time, you wouldn't even have been unconscious. You would have been dead.
Hey, a cheer for the bobbies. What about the fellow I was with?
Would have been uncut.
He was lying there, too. But what hit you guys? A bazooka barrage?
Take me back there.
Wait a second.
I'm all right. Swing this thing around and head back. It was rare weather for London, a clear night with a full moon lighting the street in front of the Golden Chest. The street quiet and tranquil until Mark ran afoul of trouble in the form of another vehicle. Hey!
Why, you cross-eyed moron? What do you think you're doing?
Mark.
Wait a minute. You drive like an old lady. You're button-headed.
Marcus, I would like to point out something.
Are you kidding? That guy was on the wrong side of the street.
Marcus, this is England. You were on the wrong side of the street.
What?
They were on the wrong side of the street, and I'd like to know what's the idea of yelling at me like that.
There were two of them standing beside the car. Now the smaller, older man spoke up.
And you're disturbing the peace. So I'm disturbing the peace, huh? What do you think you guys are, anyway?
My name is Dennis, and I happen to run this place.
Well, now, ain't that something? And I suppose your pal is the king himself, huh?
Well, sir, the name is MacDonald, Inspector, Scotland Yard.
Tell him Scotland Yard isn't in Scotland. Tell him Scotland.
We got enough cash to buy me a bail bond?
If you'll stop quacking long enough, I might be able to get you out of this. My name is Race, gentlemen. I'm representing the British and Colonial Insurance Association.
I shall take care of the damage.
Grace, did you say?
That's it. And if you're Dennison, you're the man I've been looking for.
It's a great way we meet.
Brooklyn-style driving in London. We're probably fortunate to be alive.
Well, forget it. We got more important things to talk about.
Yes. You can tell me about your partner's death.
Well, Ken was found
Black
on Lower
people
10th
get
Street.
death.
It was made to look like an accident, but I'm claiming he was murdered. Ken Norwood was too sharp, too fast on his feet to get clipped by a car. And I say he was slugged first and then run over to make it seem accidental. Ken was murdered.
Any ideas as to why?
Well, Ken, Les Kennedy, and myself are doing all right with our club, the Golden Chest. But somebody's trying to muscle in Chicago style.
Somebody who?
How do I know? Just having trouble, that's all. Iron hands getting pushed around. Now Ken Norwood gets knocked off. That's why I called the insurance company. I want everybody in on the act. I want to straighten out.
Let's go down to the morgue and have a look at Norwood's body.
All sorts of different levels of ways to deal with things, eh? Yeah, these colonial places are different you know, the British colonies are different than U.S. states, different. It's all different, very different, you know.
Look at that. Great guy. Look at him.
What's your verdict, Inspector?
Look at him on the fucking radio.
There seems to be no indication of anything but a motor car accident. Hit and run.
This mark on his temple. Had you noticed that?
The bruise? Aye, noticed it.
See you later. Thank you.
Could well have been put there by a fender or some other part of a motor car.
Do you mind telling me if you've been in France recently, Mr. Dennison?
France? Well, yes. I was there a few months ago. Why?
Oh, nothing tangible. You have a man named Owens working at the Golden Chest.
Nothing.
What's the story on him?
He's our bouncer. Good man. Cotton.
Oh, so that was Owens. I've already met him.
Have you seen enough here, Race?
I think so.
Well, then let's get out of the place. It doesn't make me happy.
By the way, Marcus, how did you come out with your roulette system?
Well, now look, it was like this.
You were clean.
You know, Lloyd, over a vacuum couldn't have done a better job. Hey, what's with this place anyway?
It's Dennison's Hotel. He's going to join us here as soon as he finishes with the Scotland Yard man.
You know, I don't get that Dennison guy. Look, why should he squawk over getting paid off on an insurance policy? It ain't natural.
Well, you might have something there, Mark. I don't know. At this point, I don't know much of anything about the case.
Don't seem to be here yet. What are we doing now?
We step
You
in.
pay money into insurance and
Well,
collect
so
it,
you're
pisses you
here
off
again.
after a while.
You come into this apartment as though you possess it.
Oh, the French thing.
Especially you start thinking, I'm a crook, you're ripping me out. You start
Wait a
thinking
minute.
crazy in your head with this
You've been
insurance.
going through this.
Oui,
Oh,
monsieur.
scam.
I have been going through it. And I found part of the money taken to my sister. Look, French franc.
The fact that you found a few francs doesn't mean that they're part of the stolen money.
No, monsieur. Then look also like this. A paper band with the stamp of the postal department. The postal department of France.
Let me see that.
Ah, no. You try to take it away from me.
So now it's a gun. The British police don't like guns.
You aren't like it either if you make a wrong move. There. Now you will come with me, while your companion stays here.
Wait a minute, you ain't going, Race.
Doesn't look as though I have much choice with this gun against my spine. Where are we heading, baby?
To the police. You do not like guns.
The criminals call the insurance company. The stick-up chick is taken into the cop shop. What the fuck is wrong with this story today?
You're making a mistake, baby, just as you did when you sent your friends against me earlier this evening.
I sent no one against you.
What's the matter?
It looks as though you have my friends this time. Those men across the street. Well, they are not good. Oh, please go away. Are you badly hurt?
I don't think so. It hit my arm, but...
They're trying to kill us.
Let me have that pistol.
No, I will keep it. Very fire the next time.
A hit. We're good. We're gonna have the police here. Do you still think I'm the bad boy in this piece?
Weren't you on the way to the police station?
Maybe it's about time we cracked it open. We're going back to Dennison's.
Hold on.
You might be there now.
How will you find me alone, monsieur? You golden friend.
Wait!
On what day of the week this was, I fucked up shit on my phone.
50-02-12. Just no use, Race. Place is tight in the drum. After all, it's almost 4 in the morning. And how do you know the dame came here?
She was after Dennison. Come on, we're going around the back of the club. There's another door there.
Oh, running. Suppose we do find a door, then what? It's gonna be locked.
Yeah, but hey, hold it.
Look, now what's the matter? If you'd only tell... Holy cow, look at that. Guy hanging out the window. By his neck.
It was an open window about 6 feet above the street. The body that swayed there had its toes within 2 or 3 inches of the sidewalk.
Wait a second, I'll turn my flashlight on it. Oh, that poor guy, if he'd only been a couple inches taller. Here's a light. Now look. Hey, Rice, is that guy Dennison?
Yes, and he's as dead as he'll ever be.
He's done it himself. Look.
Put the light back on his face again, Mark.
Hold on, did these guys make it to the fucking police station yet?
Did they?
Yeah.
Where's the French bride? She's out doing something
Square
sneaky.
bruise on
Why?
his temple. It's exactly like the one we saw in his partner in the morgue. This man didn't commit suicide, Mark. He's been murdered.
Somebody has to make those ribs. Somebody has to actually do. This is a long.
I spent most of the next day in our own hotel room, making phone calls across the channel to Paris, France. At the end of it, I figured I had the picture pretty complete. Early in the evening, Mark and I went back to the Golden Chest so I could see Leslie Kennedy. She gave me a wan smile as I stepped into her office.
I want to apologize to you, Race. I had a lot on my mind and I've been very difficult.
Oh, well.
What's on your mind?
Your partner's theory about thugs trying to move in and take over this business. Dennison was right. Thoroughly right.
I'm listening.
Ever since the end of the war, a lot of renegades have been roving the continent. Poles, Germans, French, Americans, all nationalities. Marauding and murdering. Now a gang of them has moved into England.
Gang of marauding, murdering.
And more.
Can we say mulattoes?
Where's Jerry Dayton been living?
1950, I think we can. But it would still be considered prejudicial. to say
That
that,
explains the little matter of a French girl who's been haunting Dennison's apartment. How deeply are you in love with Dayton?
I wish I knew. And again, I'm going to ask why.
I hate to say this. You better drop him. I got a make on that lad today from Paris. It's hard to believe, but he's a renegade American. He's been the leader of one of those marauding gangs for several years. He's a thief and a killer.
I wish I'd heard that a little sooner, Race. You see, I married Jerry Dayton this very morning.
You married?
Yeah. Wasn't sure I wanted to, but our dear little Leslie fell for a whirlwind fortune.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't blame yourself, Leslie. He's a smooth operator all the way. He must have known about these insurance policies you three had.
Well, that's not all. He knew that I, as a survivor, would inherit this business.
And he made sure that you'd be the survivor when he murdered your two partners. And now...
And now he moves in and takes everything over legally.
Sure.
COVID-19.
He stood just clear of the half-open door, looking like a blonde forest boy, holding an automatic in one hand while he pushed a cigarette into his mouth with the other.
So you're not sure you care for me?
I need 3.
Is that it, Les?
She should have paid more attention to her woman's intuition.
I had you figured for a problem child race. OSS boy too smart.
Which was why you had me set up for that beating last night, wasn't it?
You could have been a little smarter and backed out. I'm going to have to kill you. You too, Leslie.
That would be a little hard to pull off, won't it?
I'll arrange it. I've handled bigger things.
Such as talking that little French postal clerk into stealing money for you?
I happen to run short on funds. You have a cigarette?
No, thank you.
I'll smoke one for both of us. What tipped you off to me anyway?
Those matches you carry. The box.
Oh. I might have known you'd remember that.
Remember what, Race?
A box of safety matches and a clenched fist. It becomes lethal when you hit a man alongside the head with it. It was a trick we used during the war when we needed a fast, unobtrusive weapon.
Shut up.
Dayton used it on both Norwood and Dennison, his friends. But it left a little square bruise on each of them.
No one else will get hep to it, though. And here's where I make it work again on you.
You're wrong, Miss Drew. I'm never going to make it work again.
It wasn't the blunt force to the head from your fist, it was the matches. What are you talking about?
Oh, dames. What would you do without dames, right?
Now, wait a minute,
Ah,
Marcus.
no, wait a minute. When I'm not around, they even get you out of jams.
You hit on this dude and then pretending you're
Better
not.
live, Reese. The doctor just told me.
They won't live long, lady. They get them for murder in this country, they hang them sure, and they hang them right.
Hey, now take it easy, Mark. You know, this happens to be his wife.
I'll get over it, Reese. I think I've had a very narrow escape. I'm very grateful for what you've done.
Well, then, do me a favor. Give that French girl a helping hand. You know, a little money would do an awful lot toward getting her kid sister out of a French prison.
I'll do that.
Good, that's swell. Marcus?
Yeah.
We shall go now. We've got to see about a plane for New York.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Look, I ain't gonna fly.
Oh, yes, you are.
No, I ain't gonna fly.
Oh, yes, you are, Marcus.
You know
Now,
what?
Mark, it's a matter of time. We have another case waiting, my boy.
You know what I'm gonna do when we get back?
No, what are you going to do when you get back?
I'm gonna get one of those little brass plates, an nameplate,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna have this printed on it.
Yes.
Mark Donovan, boy aeroplane.
Oh, that fucking sucked. Jesus. February, it doesn't fucking matter. This is 02/12. December 2nd or February 12th. You're not going outside, no matter how bad the radio show is. You're not going outside.
Starring Paul Dubov with Tony Barrett as Mark
That's
Donovan
that's on
comes
the
to you from
shotguns
Hollywood.
and snowblowers.
Others heard in tonight's cast were Gene Bates, Michael Ann Barrett, Tom Holland, Bill Crawford, and William Johnstone. This series is written and directed by Joel Murcott
Imagine
and
be like
Buckley Ainsley.
1950.
The
Go back
music
and
is
experience
composed and
1
played
year
by
of the
Ivan
last
Ditmar.
century.
Be sure to be with us again this time next week for another dramatic chapter in the adventures of Frank Race. Art Gilmore speaking. This is a BPS production.
Is that some sort of defunct company now, probably? That's why I laugh when I hear NBC, CBS, ABC, because those companies are still around. What is this? Jake Ellington, that's a singer, right? It says Solitude 1941. How bad is this going to be? I gotta hear it because I just gotta know. I just gotta know better. I don't hide from anything. Solitude 1941. Is this peppy enough I can go shoot people to this? That's what it's for. 1941. So that would be 16. How old he was? I don't know what the was this or nothing. I don't know shit for this. Yeah, I don't know for anything except concerto for flute, violin, and clavier. In a minor. J.S. Block. It's not J.S. It's Johann Sebastian. 1044. This is too much. We need something more traditional. There we go. This is as bad as your pineapple cheese spread. I swear to God, I know this
Good
song.
afternoon, sir. I have a package to deliver to either Mr. or Mrs. Bride. Are they at home? Yes, sir. I'll take it to them. Well, my instructions are to give it to them personally.
Get into the park before you
Don't smoke again. You're playing garbage.
My name is Dollar. Are you Mrs.
I know
Bride?
what you're doing. You're playing stuff you don't have to pay any fucking fees on. Filling the overnight. You don't have any people working. You're trying to like minimum. See, you're pretending like you're thinking military. No, you're thinking corporate. And you're fucking everything up. That's why your attendance burned out. Nobody tells you for 2 weeks. They think it's funny. I think it's funny. This is weird. How about you, electric girl? A metropole is the pole you hold onto in the metro when you're riding the subway to work. And you can't smoke in the metro. Oh, for fuck's sakes, what is this? I think he's running through everything. This is no good. Serve FM. Out and left. Purple pole. That's right. I got some weed here in the party. Muslim community. These are basically like headphones I'm not wearing on my head since I sit right in. I can't. No, this thing is like it was meant to be like a monitor / TV set. So they knew you might be sitting across the room or right in front of it. And they went for clarity instead of power in the speakers. None of these is how do I get rid of these? None of these are. Oh, wait, this one might. I have a huge interest in that shit. I just can't handle it. So, this is what you're listening to when you're riding the metro, holding the metro pole to music the metro pole. Disappointing. We spent the entire first 10 minutes of the hour. This is really sun's coming up. Oh no, it was red. I missed it. This is harsh, man. This is harsh.
Character, combination, publicity man, talent agent, promoter, and tout.
Companion to
by
a
the sofa
chimp.
sits a long-legged blonde, about 6 feet tall. Takes a few seconds for me to cover all that ground, even with my 20/20 vision, but it's time well spent.
Some more emphasis on things that like.
Secretary said I could come in.
Sit down. Marty will be through in a minute.
Thanks.
What? Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
what they have when they
Okay,
have.
Harry, it's a deal. Hang on a second. Hey, come in. Sit down. Hey, you're looking great. Hold on, Harry. Mindy Lane, this is Mr.
Fortune, Rocky Fortune.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Excuse me a second. Harry, now listen, about the publicity on the guy from Mars picture. I'm working on the Chamber of Commerce for a full-dress Martian day in Central Park. We stage an invasion with midgets, see? Maybe we can get Orson to MC.
Midgets. Orson.
Okay, Harry. If the price is right, you'll go ahead with that other matter.
Holy shit.
That's right.
Shit, eh?
So long. Well, you're looking great, Fortune. Put on a little weight, huh? Now, let me see. You're here about...
A job.
A what?
A job.
Yeah, well, it's been nice meeting you. Keep in touch with the office, huh? First thing it breaks, I give you my solemn pledge.
I'm not a performer, Mr. Bunsen. The employment agency sent me.
Oh, that job. Well, why didn't you say so? What do you think, Mindy?
He's cute.
You got eyes.
Okay, Fortune, you're hired. 60 a week, less 10% to me for getting you the job.
Uh-huh. Who's my employer?
Me. Take it or leave it.
I'd like to leave it, but I'll take it.
Okay, report to the television studio tonight at 6:30.
What studio?
Miss Lane's, of course.
Oh, I get it. You're the Mindy Lane who's got the TV show every night.
Star of TV, video, and television. You ever watch the show?
Oh, my set ain't working. In fact, I don't have a set.
Now be on time.
You mind if I ask you what my job is?
Didn't the agency explain you're a paid companion?
To Miss Lane?
To the senator.
Which one?
Well, this boy's pretty square. He's almost accused.
He hasn't seen the show, Marty.
Just a minute. I'll get the senator. Where is he?
He's asleep in the closet.
Oh, excuse me. Senator? Hey, Godfrey, come on out. Now, Mr. Fortune, this is Senator G. Godfrey Jig. Senator, meet Rocky Fortune.
Say to you,
Senator G. Godfrey Jiggs turns out to be the biggest chimpanzee I ever saw in my life. Suddenly I remember that this oversized anthropoid is the star of Mindy Lane's daily TV show, and I have signed on as his valet.
Go away.
Godfrey removes his miniature armbird and comes over to me for a quick sniff. Before I know it, he's greeting me like a long-lost relative. All right, down, son. Here, down. Oh.
Don't fight him, Rocky. He likes you.
Easy, boy. Here.
Come here, Godfrey. Come on. That's a good fella. Oh, it's me sweet.
Yeah, if you like apes. What do I have to do for this character?
Just pick him up at Mindy's apartment every night and make sure he gets to the studio on time. Then you take him
one of
home.
those cynical.
It's only a couple hours work a
It
night.
doesn't matter what that last word was.
Right
If
now.
you like,
Here's his
whatever
collar
the
and
last
leash.
word was.
Take him up to Miss Lane's apartment on 5th Avenue. Here's the address. She'll meet you there in half an hour.
Will he come with me?
Oh, he's very affectionate.
It's a cute
He likes
dog.
you.
If you like
Oh,
dogs.
sure. Okay.
Oh, and Fortune.
Yeah.
Be careful with him. He's worth about $500,000.
Oops.
You went to
I
an
leave the
agency.
ship and we make it down to the sidewalk where I flag a hat. There's something definitely crazy about this job, but the hours are good and the pay's okay, so am I to complain.
You're about to get framed up for fucking losing that monkey. That monkey's gonna
Line
get
two.
stolen or destroyed.
45
or
Fifth
something.
Avenue. Now sit back, Godfrey.
Hey, who's your friend?
TV actor.
Hey, that's the monkey I seen on Mindy Lane's program, ain't it?
Uh-huh.
Well, what do you know? Are you his trainer?
I'm his father. Now, how about watching the road for a change?
Look, you done your job, I'll done mine.
The hack drops me off at Mindy's apartment, and the doorman shows me which way to go. I get the key in the door and open it.
Oh my God.
Mindy's got guests, and they ain't very polite.
Okay,
The
shut the
Flipper show
door.
is damn near pornographic, and they reveal all
Sure,
the
anything
truth
you
about
say.
it.
Would you mind taking a howitzer out of my spine?
Back against the wall.
All right, okay.
Lily,
Yeah.
take care of him.
Okay, Harry. Now just breathe deep, honey. This ain't gonna hurt one bit.
Not the guy, idiot. The monkey.
Oh.
Say, can I put my hands down? I'm getting a little tired.
He's tired. You're tired?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, he
take
ain't
a
monkey.
rest.
What the fuck?
Harry drops the barrel of his cannon across my head bone, and I spend the next 20 minutes pounding my ear on the Broadman. When I come to, there's a sweetish smell in the room, like a hospital. Through the haze, I can make out the pulse of my very good friend Hamilton J. Finger, sergeant of the gendarmerie.
The
Take it easy,
gendarmerie.
push it. Take it easy.
Oh, they forgot to lower the gates.
What gate?
At the railroad crossing, what hit me, a local or an express?
You was sapped.
Where's Godfrey?
Godfrey.
The monkey.
Wait a minute now, I'm beginning to remember. I walk in as a mug with a 45 and a tough-looking babe. They clout me, and that's all I remember.
Marty?
What?
Look on my dresser. It's a note.
Yeah, let's have a look at that.
Here, after.
If you want the chimp, it'll cost you $5,000. Don't call us, we'll call you. Hey, looks like the ape has had the snatch put on him.
What do you know?
Get a good look at the guy who slugged your fortune?
The guy was about 8 feet high with hands like maws.
Oh, the
The
ape
woman was a little on the
what
fat
the
side, if you know what
fuck?
I mean. About a mileage.
Yeah,
What the
Well, we'll
fuck?
send out an alarm.
Well, you've got to get him back, officer. He's the star of my program.
We'll do our best,
The
lady.
Hey, you know,
droplets.
something
This is
just
not
occurred to me.
saliva.
Yeah?
How did those people get in here? Miss Lane had a new lock put on that door only yesterday.
Who has the key?
Just Miss Lane and Mr. Fortune here.
And the
Just a
locksmith.
second, Uncle. Back up. Whoa.
Well, it is peculiar, you must admit.
Hey, what about that rock?
Sure, I arranged the whole thing. I snatched the ape, and then with a quick twist of the wrist, I slugged myself in the back of the head. And while I was unconscious...
Okay, knock off.
Oh, it could be an inside job.
Fuck off.
Mr. Fortune here might have arranged with the crook. You want to get belted? Now listen, you
Now, hold
probably-
it, shut up, the both of you.
Get
I'll
melted.
send out an alarm. Meanwhile,
Nobody leave town, you understand?
Before you go, I'd like to say a word to Mr. Fortune.
This'll be clever.
You're fired.
Thanks. I stagger back to my flat and fall into the sack with the radio playing soft music. Just as I start to dream about Mindy Lane, something brings me out of the clouds.
This isn't soft music. What was he listening to? Why not play what he was listening?
Well, every TV set in the nation will be focused on Mindy Lane's cocktail hour tonight when the glamorous mistress of ceremonies makes a nationwide appeal to the kidnappers of her co-star, Senator G. Godfrey Jakes, to return the simian-snatched victim to Mama. What could have been a disaster for the show has been turned into a terrific publicity stunt by ace-tough thumper Marty Bunsen. Says Mr. Bunsen, quote, "The evil, scar-faced man and the strange woman who overpowered her keeper and kidnapped G. Godfrey Jakes will be brought to justice. Miss Lane appeals to them to treat the animal decently. He must be fed only special foods, and he will not eat from the hands of someone he doesn't like. We appeal in the name of..." Keeper, he calls me. I shut off the radio, and it suddenly dawns on me. My former employer, Mr. Bunsen, was talking to a guy named Harry when I first walked into his office. And a guy named Harry slugged me in Mindy Lane's apartment. Also, Mr. Bunsen is making too much hay out of this monkey's
Yeah, but
mess.
that's not that much
I
useful
decided to pay him a
information.
visit in his apartment. The phone book is a name in bold-faced type, an inch high.
It's like the hey, pet the snatch, but
Well, what do you want?
You owe me half a day's pay. Not counting the time I spend on my face in Mindy Lane's apartment.
Come to my office tomorrow.
I need the cash.
How dare you barge in here?
Get the dough, pal. I'll wait.
Now let's...
Get the dough, buddy.
All right. Stay here.
somebody
Sure,
else
I got all
will,
night.
when somebody else will fucking just stab you or something.
While he goes into the back of the apartment, I take a quick look around. The living room shows nothing, and I decide to follow Mr. Bunsen into the bedroom at the rear of the setup. I tiptoe along the hall and manage a quick peek through the keyhole. What I see is enough to make me open the door in a hurry.
Now get out of here.
Well,
You miserable sneak.
If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, what a tender
What
thing.
do you want, Fortune?
I want to know how come you got Lane's pet monkey sleeping in your bed like he was a crown prince.
Well, it's all a publicity stunt. I cooked the whole thing up with Mindy. You know, Chimp gets kidnapped, TV star desolate. Look, I'll pay you well. I'll give you $100.
I got a lump in my head where Harry dropped the hardware.
All right, 150.
You know something, Marty? It just occurred to me that maybe this is a publicity stunt. And then again, maybe Mindy Lane isn't even in on it.
What do you mean?
I don't think you're above clipping your own client for $5,000.
Oh, now, don't be ridiculous.
Suppose we phone the little girl right now and find out.
All right. She needn't phone. She's on her way up now.
Swell. I'll wait.
Where the fuck was
that
he
must be
gonna
Mindy
phone?
now. Wonder what kept her. You get it. I'll stay here and
No
keep an eye on the
self, eh?
answer for you. Money Bunsen goes to the other end of the apartment to answer the door, and I wait inside the bedroom. I hear the door open, but nobody comes in. I wait a couple of minutes longer and decide to take a look. I exit from the bedroom just in time to get it again. Same spot.
I might know it if I take an English from the first 7 years of school.
Beauty, come on, snap out of it. Come on. Oh. Come on, on your feet. Yeah. Did you get the license number? Very funny. Whew. You know, the top of my head is beginning to feel like the Anzio Beach at H+1. Well, you got a good alibi cooked up this time? Same as before. I reached around and hit myself with a crooked sledgehammer. Hey, the monkey's gone. Bunsen did it. He waited behind the door and socked me. He's the one snatched the A for the show, Sarge. Now, that's almost as good as your alibi, Rock, only it won't wash. Why not? Because Marty Bunsen is laying on his back in the living room with a knife in his throat. I am in trouble. Marty Bunsen is spread out in the living room like an hors d'oeuvre with a toothpick in the middle, and my friend Sergeant Finger thinks I had something to do with it. I try to explain about my visit, but the sergeant can't see it my way.
No
use, Rocky. That story is full of holes. So's your head. I'm telling you, it was a publicity gag. He was expecting Mindy Lane just before he got killed, and the buzzer rang.
Let's
go
down to the
clubhouse and talk this over with the lights on, huh? Sergeant, you ain't gonna pin this on me. I didn't do it. Maybe I ain't gonna pin it on you, Rock. But it won't be because I didn't try. Now, come on. Okay. But before you go... Yeah? You're leading with your chin. I'll see you later.
Runs out on a murder fucking investigation. Fuck the cop.
I figure I'm cooked anyway. I may as well try to catch the killer before they have me served. Next stop is Mindy Lane's Mink Line Cave on Park Avenue.
What's Rocky?
Mind if I come in?
Oh, I don't seem to have any choice. Well, what brings you? Is there any news about Godfrey?
As a matter of fact, there is.
Have they found the kidnappers?
Sit down, baby. This may come as a shock to you.
Well, he isn't dead, is he?
Who?
Godfrey.
No, Godfrey's all right, but his man Bunsen ain't doing very well.
Marty? Why, what's wrong?
Mindy,
Yes?
now cut out the baloney, baby.
What do you mean?
I mean that you know as well as I do that Marty Bunsen is dead because you left him with a knife in his throat.
No, I
You did go to see him about an hour ago.
Well,
Come on, honey, I was in the other room.
Well, then you must have killed him.
Don't be silly. I was in Never Never Land. Whoever stabbed Marty also conked me. That wouldn't be you, would it?
No, honest.
Let's have your version. You did go to his apartment, right?
Yes, I did go to Marty's apartment. The door was unlocked. When he didn't answer, I walked in. I saw him lying on the floor, and I got panicky and ran. Marty and I cooked up this whole monkey business as a publicity deal. Now, how could I explain that to the
monkey business?
Who do you think killed him?
I don't know.
Mindy, honey, one of us is in trouble, and as much as I like you, I'd rather it was you.
But I swear I didn't do it. Who can that be?
Let's answer it and find out. Hello?
If you want the monkey back, the price is now $15,000. You got 3 days to raise the dough. We'll call you again.
You must have a lot of dimes.
Who was it?
The party who killed Marty Bunsen slugged me and stole the monkey.
What?
Now all we gotta do is find him before he finds us.
Maybe we better call the police.
Oh, sure. Look, you stick right here. They'll call back with instructions.
Well, where are you going?
I don't know, but... Hey,
So when did
wait
the
a
phone
minute.
company switch from 5 cents
Mindy,
to
when
10
you and Marty
cents
Bunsen
to pay
cooked up
phone?
this publicity gag, you hired a couple of hoods to do the snatch, right?
Well, Marty hired them, not me.
You know who they were?
I'm afraid not.
There was a big guy named Harry and a woman named Lily. Marty ever mention them to you?
Harry? No, the only Harry he ever mentioned is that he's a television actor, Harry Peterson. Marty represents him.
Harry Peterson. What kind of parts does he play?
Mostly menaces and heavies.
It's an awful long shot, but maybe it's worth a try.
What is?
It just occurred to me that Marty might have hired an actor to snatch the monkey, and that the snatch might have given the actor some ideas.
Like what?
Like going into business for himself. I'll see you later, baby. I make a fast call to the talent registry and find out that I can reach Harry Peterson at his flat in Greenwich Village. I subway down and find the number. It's after midnight, and the house is a 5-story movie set from a Humphrey Bogart picture. The mailbox says 5th floor, and I start up.
Yes?
Remember me?
Oh.
Mind if I come in? Thanks. Shut the door. Where's the ham?
Ham?
Harry, the menace.
He's out walking the baby.
At 10 minutes past midnight?
Well, the baby couldn't sleep. Sometimes fresh air helps.
Uh-huh. Now wait.
Look, Mr.
Fortune.
What we did wasn't very nice, but we needed the money.
Nice. Lady, I've been sapped until my hair hurts.
Well, Harry hasn't been working much, and when Marty Bunsen offered him $100 to stage that monkey business, he took it.
He overacts, doesn't he? Look at his lump on my head.
Well, he got scared you'd yell for the police.
That doesn't explain why he stuck a knife in Marty Bunsen and took the chimp away again.
What?
You heard me good.
Mr. Fortune, you're mistaken. We left the monkey with Marty. Well, why, I didn't even know he was hurt.
Not hurt, lady. Dead.
Oh, I swear we don't know anything about that, Mr. Fortune. I give you my word.
I don't know if you're acting or not, honey, but I'll buy your story until the morning.
You're going?
For the moment. Give my regards to Barrymore. Tell him I owe him a knock on the head. This chick is no Eleanor Aduza, and I can see through a phony act like a cellophane bag. I make like I'm leaving the premises, but I turn up my collar and dip into a dark alley to wait for Harry Boy. After a couple of minutes, he comes wheeling along with the baby carriage in front of him, and I don't need a crystal ball to guess what's inside. Hey, Jackson. Hold it a minute, will you?
What do you want in there?
In case you ever want to rock your baby to sleep, here's a rock.
You hit him with...
Hairbreadth Harry drops like a pole ox, and 2 minutes later, I'm making like Hambletonian down the avenue toward Washington Square with the baby carriage hitched behind me. After a couple of minutes, I pull up lame and flop down on the bench in the park with some oxygen. The monkey's fast asleep in the carriage. Drugged, I figure. Oh, boy, let's take 5. Uh-oh. Say, mister, you mind if I sit down? Oh, sure. Help yourself, Sal. Woo! You got a Bromo? Never touch it. Oh, baby. Yours? I'm minding it for a friend of mine. Wow, congratulations. Thanks. Hey, you mind if I take a look? Easy, Dad. Oh, that's a nice little bitty. Yeah! Steady, boy. Pardon me. Hey, Pop, you forgot your bottle of Tiger Sweat. Keep it. I think I've had enough. You can chalk one up for the Temperance League. Come on, Junior, we better get out of here before Harry the horse shows up. Woke up, huh? Let's go, kid.
Hold it, Fortune.
Well, speak of the devil.
Get him up.
Anything you say.
Let's walk.
Any place in particular?
Home, James. And one peep and I'll ventilate your spine.
You're driving.
Move.
You can't get away with it, Harry. Even if you get the 15 grand for the monkey, they'll catch you for Marty Benson's murder sooner or later.
Not me, Jack. You.
I don't dig it.
You're going to be found on your face with the handkerchief that wiped the knife in your pocket. It still has Marty's blood on it.
That ought to be very convincing.
Keep walking.
My feet hurt.
In a couple of minutes, you can get off of them. For good.
I never figured myself for a guy who'll die pushing a baby carriage with a monkey in it, but here I am. I slogged down the avenue with Harry's 45, caressing my psychoiliac, trying to figure a way out. The street's deserted. We reached the alleyway alongside the house.
Classic.
Okay, punk. Leave the baby carriage here.
Okay.
Turn around.
All right.
Walk down the alley. You won't feel a thing. I'll give it to you on the 5th step. Move.
My legs won't work.
Walk. Another step. 3 more steps.
Giant steps or baby steps?
Go on.
Look, couldn't we talk this over?
Okay, punk. That's far enough. So long. Oh, my arm! You killed me! I'm bleeding! You'll be bleeding worse if you try to get away.
Okay, are you all right?
Let me get out in the light and I'll check for the leaks. Phew.
For a minute, I was afraid that...
Lady, I've been afraid for 30 years, but this tops it all. What brought you?
The lady here called the cops. We traced you to Peterson's apartment, and his wife broke down and talked. I figured we'd lay for Peterson downstairs.
You know he killed Marty Bunsen so he could get the monkey?
Yeah, his missus spilled the whole thing. If you two are okay, I'll take this boiled ham down to headquarters. Let's go, Harry.
Rocky.
Well, that cops just thinking about eating all the time.
Probably stopped in a baby carriage. I think they drugged him.
The carriage is empty.
What? Let me look. Holy smokes, the chip was in there a minute ago. Where could he be?
Well, here comes the man. Let's ask him if he's seen Godfrey.
Okay. Hey, Mac.
You was a dresser, man?
Oh, we're not going to get any place.
Hey, you're the thought of the baby.
That's right, Dad.
I got news for you.
What's that, Dad?
If you're looking for your little boy, he's up there hanging from the lamp post.
NBC has presented Frank Sinatra as that footloose and fancy-free young gentleman, Rocky Fortune.
Really?
Others in the cast included Gene Bates, Alice Backus, Jerry Hausner, Herb Michael, Nestor Tucker, Gloria Ann Simpson, and Barney Phillips. Tonight's script was written by George Lefferts. Andrew C. Love directed. Eddie King speaking. Now, to tell you about next week's adventure, here's Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune.
What's your name again? No. You're going to ruin it. He's going to what? Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, scratch. There you go. That's what this is for. Right on one spot. Just one spot. It's horrible. It's really cheap. And I'll pay for that for the next 3 days. We'll just dip it through the seconds. Fucking sun's up in here. Damn it. I saw this before. Refund policy due to the COVID-19 pandemic and to keep our staff and customers safe, we will not be accepting returns until further notice. Oh, fuck, you should be accepting returns anyway. You're a grocery store. What do you sell? This is dead, like something wrong with it. What aside from that? Oh, I got the wrong one. Well, fucking give it to the food bank, asshole. This ain't a food bank. This is a fucking grocery store. Why? It's not a restaurant. Stupid. The reason it's cheaper. I can't think of ever having had to bring anything back to a grocery store ever. Even grocery stores that sell other shit that's not food, I still cannot think. I need to return this address. I can't. Whose job is it to even do that? I don't think that's even an assigned job, because who the fuck is people buying toilet paper? Yeah, those stores didn't even have a policy on that. Southeast or Southwest. Yeah. Oh.
The COVID-19 pandemic, the projected deficit for this year could hit $343 billion, and 78% of those surveyed said that number worries them. But despite the economy running,
you're not going to pay it, neither are your
kids. The Australian
kids.
Association for Canadian Studies poll suggests 41% of those surveyed think pandemic aid programs need to be immediately scaled back or ended. 44% of those surveyed think the special payments to Canadians and businesses ought to continue. Terry Pickett, the Canadian Press, Ottawa.
680 News Time 536. A union representing Ontario healthcare workers is set to announce today what it calls political action in response to the province potentially extending its emergency powers. The Ontario Council of Hospital Unions says it'll make the announcement at Hamilton General Hospital. The Ford government introduced a bill last week that would allow it to keep some emergency measures in place for up to a year. Healthcare workers say the orders suspend their collective bargaining agreement, meaning staff may have shifts changed, be moved from site to site, or have vacation requests denied.
680 News Time 537. Donald Trump appears to be downplaying tension between himself and his country's top infectious disease expert.
ABC's Inez de la Gatera has the latest from Washington.
After his advisors put out information critical of Dr. Anthony Fauci, President Trump told reporters he gets along just fine with the government's leading expert on infectious diseases. But the president recently made it clear he's not happy with Dr. Fauci's warnings that the pandemic is far from over.
It is truly historic. We haven't even begun to see the end of it yet.
Multiple White House officials tell ABC News that Trump has a nickname for Dr. Fauci, Dr. Gloom and Doom. Inez de la Gatera, ABC News, Washington. This is 680 News. A shooting at a North York plaza has sent 3 men to hospital, 2 of them in serious condition. 680's Ken Dorrit reports.
Toronto police were flooded with calls around 8:30 Monday evening for reports of multiple shots in the York Woods Plaza, a strip mall on Jane just south of Finch. Inspector Norm Proctor says the suspect information is still limited.
What we have so far is 3 male black individuals. They were wearing masks, and they were last seen fleeing northbound on Jane Street in a smaller black SUV.
He asked anyone with information to come forward and says officers are working hard to gather info and camera footage in the area. It continues a violent trend that started Friday afternoon in the city after 6 different shootings were reported in just 12 hours, and 2 more over the weekend. 2 people have since died from those shootings. Toronto's deputy police chief calls the violence concerning. I'm Cam Dorrit.
680 News Time, 5:39. A man charged with kidnapping after a woman unconscious after an apparent drug overdose was allegedly abducted will appear in court today. The 33-year-old woman, who was missing for most of the day yesterday, was found safe just after 7 last evening. Toronto police were called to the Sherbourne and Dundas area just before 9 Monday morning for a suspected overdose. But before they arrived, witnesses say a man put the unconscious woman inside a car, telling concerned citizens he would take her to the hospital. The man drove off, but police say they never made it to the hospital. A 51-year-old man has been arrested and charged with kidnapping and failed to comply with parole.
This is 680 News. Police star Naya Rivera's body has been found at a California lake where she presumably drowned after saving her son. 680's Karen Seolan has the story. The Glee actress went missing almost a week ago while boating with her young son.
He and Naya swam in the lake together at some point during their journey. It was during that time that her son described being helped into the boat by Naya. The boat boosted him onto the deck from Canada.
The Ventura County Sheriff saying she mustered enough energy to get her 4-year-old son out of the choppy waters, but not to save herself.
The kid's going to suffer a head injury. They head into a parallel dimension.
Which led investigators to believe Rivera drowned in a tragic accident. One in a series that's hit Glee. Rivera's body pulled from Lake Pyro on the 7th anniversary of her co-star, Canadian actor Corey Monteith's overdose death. The cast of Glee gathering on the edge of the lake, photographed holding hands, as authorities confirmed the body that floated up to the surface Monday was that of Naya Rivera. I'm Karen Seolan.
680 News Time, 5:40. Toronto police will be joining a local cyclist today who's been riding his bicycle in memory of George Floyd, who died under the knee of a Minneapolis police officer in May. Matthew Cuesta has been cycling 46 kilometers or running 4.6 kilometers each day as part of his 46 for George journey. His 46th and final ride will end at the exhibition grounds around 8:30 this morning.
680 News Time, 5:40. Staying in control of your money can be tough. Luckily, the CIBC Smart Account helps by actively monitoring your everyday banking.
Si on compare avant et maintenant, on a 700% d'augmentation des cas. On doit aplanir la courbe. Les gens doivent porter le masque en public parce que sinon, on va encore une fois perdre complètement contrôle de la situation.
Aplanir la courbe, je disais aujourd'hui au sujet de M. Fauci qui disait on l'a probablement pas suffisamment aplati avant de rouvrir. Et justement, il y a une bataille au fond en ce moment sur la perception de cette pandémie. Et le président Trump s'entend pas vraiment avec le Dr. Fauci qui est directeur de l'Institut national des allergies et maladies infectieuses là, et qui fait autorité suprême sur le dossier de la pandémie aux États-Unis.
Parce qu'il y a une bataille de crédibilité parce que M. Trump, depuis le début de la pandémie, minimise beaucoup les effets. Regardez, les décès sont en chute libre, tout va bien, c'est très maîtrisé. Alors qu'en fait, Anthony Fauci, le scientifique, dit on n'est vraiment pas prêt de voir le début de la fin de cette pandémie. Donc c'est le genre de commentaire qui est pourtant basé sur la réalité qui ne plaît pas au président. Et donc on a plusieurs personnes de la Maison-Blanche, dont notamment un secrétaire adjoint au département de la santé qui est sorti hier pour dire que, écoutez, monsieur Fauci, il a une vision assez étroite du dossier. Bref, monsieur Trump, il est ressorti encore une fois en disant que bon, la relation est bonne, il l'aime bien, mais il n'est n'était pas toujours d'accord avec le médecin. Bref, c'est vraiment une bataille là, d'image, de perception, parce que M. Trump, encore une fois, parle à sa base militante en disant « Je contrôle tout, tout va bien, ne vous inquiétez pas. » Mais sur le terrain, c'est notre histoire.
C'est Fauci qui disait, je pense, ça, c'est toujours une constante négociation, en quelque sorte.
C'est difficile.
Frédéric Arnould, à Washington, merci beaucoup.
Je vous en prie.
Il arrive que l'histoire s'accélère. Je pense qu'on peut dire que c'est le cas depuis quelques semaines avec les manifestations politiques qui secouent non seulement la société américaine, mais le monde entier. Et le monde du sport ne fait pas exception depuis des années. Les Redskins de Washington de la Ligue nationale de football faisaient l'objet de critiques en raison de leur nom et de leur logo jugé raciste par les Premières Nations et de nombreux commentateurs. Eh bien, c'est fini. La formation va changer de nom. Et c'est peut-être seulement le commencement. Pensez aux Chiefs de Kansas City, aux Indians de Cleveland, aux Braves d'Atlanta, aux Eskimos d'Edmonton. Il y a plusieurs équipes qui ont annoncé qu'elles amorçaient une période de réflexion. Est-ce qu'on assiste à un réveil dans le monde sportif? J'en discute avec André Richelieu, qui est professeur au département de marketing à l'Université du Québec à Montréal. C'est un spécialiste du marketing du sport. Monsieur Richelieu, bonsoir et bienvenue à l'heure du monde.
Bonsoir.
Ça fait des années qu'il y a des pressions de différents groupes autochtones pour changer le nom des Redskins et c'était une réponse plutôt d'immobilité sur eux. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de succès. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé cette fois?
Je dirais qu'il y a le contexte en général qui a accéléré le cours de l'histoire, mais il y a aussi la pression des commanditaires et des partenaires financiers en général, ce qui a amené les Redskins de Washington à revisiter le dossier et à annoncer aujourd'hui que le nom et le logo allaient être abandonnés à partir d'aujourd'hui, qu'un nouveau nom, un nouveau logo seront dévoilés.
Ce que vous êtes en train de nous dire, c'est que ce n'est pas nécessairement la morale pure qui a parlé, ce serait plutôt la morale des affaires, c'est quelque chose d'un peu différent quand même.
C'est triste à dire, puisque en fait, l'histoire des Redskins de Washington a été entachée de controverses depuis que l'équipe est installée à Washington en 1937. Donc, il y a eu des vagues de propriétaires qui ont eu des positions plus ou moins discutables, le nom de l'équipe et le logo, bien entendu, qui faisait polémique. Et en 2013-2014, ce dossier a refait surface lors d'incidents aux États-Unis. Aujourd'hui, sur le plan moral, sur le plan politique, c'était devenu impossible d'éviter la question. Je dirais que les détonateurs, c'est le contexte que l'on vit aux États-Unis.
Oh my God, how many fucking white Christmas lights do you need? You got a Christmas tree, oh, Christmas lights.
But they're not. Donc, dans la balance des avantages et des inconvénients, cette fois-ci, ce sont les commanditaires qui ont fait pencher le tout.
Tout à fait. Vous allez avoir un effet domino sans aucun doute avec les autres équipes que vous avez mentionnées. Donc, on vient d'ouvrir une boîte de Pandore. Et ce qui va faire pencher la balance, outre la question morale, c'est très important. C'est juste pour la négocier. Je ne veux pas non plus qu'on tombe dans le cynisme. Mais ce qui va changer les choses, on va tout le voir les accélérer. C'est la pression des partenaires financiers. C'est la donne pécuniaire qui, en fin de compte, a le dernier mot. Et on le voit, en fait, avec le retour au jeu des luttes professionnelles. C'est la pression des revenus associés à la retransmission télé, des commanditaires, etc., qui a fait en sorte que
we're not Latinos, but don't talk to us like that. We'll get back.
vit beaucoup en vase clos. C'est un peu comme un country club et malheureusement, si le monde change, le sport professionnel, lui, ne change pas nécessairement pour refléter les réalités de la société. Et il faut parfois des chocs, dans ce cas-ci, des chocs politiques, mais aussi d'ordre financier pour accélérer les choses, et c'est ce qu'on voit avec l'équipe de Washington de la NFL.
Mais justement, est-ce que c'est parce que le milieu sportif est plus conservateur, qui est en retard sur les mouvements de société, ou parce qu'ils craignent de faire face à des contre-coups de la part de leur public ou de leurs admirateurs?
Un autre analyste parlait de pot pourri, pour nous amener à la situation qui est celle d'aujourd'hui. Il n'y a jamais dans un problème complexe une seule raison pour expliquer le tout. Mais je dirais qu'il y avait des éléments qui ont favorisé la remise en question du nom de l'équipe de Washington de la NFL. Et ces mêmes raisons vont mettre sous le feu des projecteurs d'autres équipes pour voir dans quelle mesure le logo, le nom, l'uniforme se prête au contexte que l'on connaît actuellement. Et ce que vous mentionnez avec la dimension commerciale est aussi étroitement lié à l'identification des fans, à un nom, à un logo, à un uniforme.
Ben voilà, parce que quand on change le nom comme ça et le logo en même temps, est-ce qu'il n'y a pas un risque que les admirateurs, que les fans sentent que c'est plus tout à fait la même équipe?
Tout à fait. Il y a un risque lorsqu'on change l'identité visuelle, donc le nom, le logo, les couleurs. Et c'est pourquoi, dans ce cas-ci, pour éviter de s'aliéner certains fans qui sont des irréductibles de l'équipe, de son nom, de son histoire, ce qui va se passer, selon moi, à dans le secret des dieux, c'est qu'on va, se débarrasser du nom et du logo, c'est déjà annoncé, mais on va probablement garder les couleurs Bourgogne et jaune pour préserver un lien avec le passé de l'équipe, son héritage, et notamment garder un lien avec les partisans un peu plus âgés qui pourraient être plus réticents à voir le logo et le nom de l'équipe être modifié dans le contexte actuel. Donc je crois qu'il y aura aussi un clivage générationnel qui apparaître. Cela étant dit, les performances sur le terrain pourraient aider la transition dans le sens où la victoire est suffisante et essentielle pour une bonne équipe, une performance de qualité sur le terrain.
Taylor cafes, but you won't sell Redskins jerseys under the table. Fucking stupid. It would piss off the Americans.
Je sais que vous êtes un amateur de sport et les Redskins, mais si on regarde les statistiques, ils ont terminé 31e sur 32 dans la NFL. Est-ce que vous pensez que ce changement pourrait aussi donner un nouveau souffle à cette équipe?
Écoutez, il y a encore beaucoup de turbulences à venir pour le marché de Washington, malheureusement, parce qu'effectivement, on est dans un contexte où il y a pratiquement, je dirais, une tempête parfaite ici pour les pauvres amateurs de l'équipe Washington de la NFL, puisque vous avez une controverse qui se poursuit avec le nom, le logo, les couleurs de l'équipe d'une part, et d'autre part, vous avez des performances sur le terrain qui jusqu'à présent ont été assez difficiles, pour rester poli, depuis quelques années. Donc, vous avez une franchise qui est à la croisée des chemins, qui pourrait profiter sur le moyen long terme de ce changement de nom et de logo pour se refaire une image sans aucun jeu de mots et aussi repartir sur de nouvelles bases sur et en dehors du terrain.
En tout cas, ce sera difficile de faire pire que la dernière saison. André Richelieu, professeur au département de marketing à l'Université du Québec à Montréal et spécialiste du marketing du sport, merci beaucoup d'avoir participé à l'Heure du Monde.
Avec plaisir. Au revoir.
Vous aimez nos entrevues? Vous pouvez les réécouter où que vous soyez et quand vous voulez sur l'application Radio-Canada Audio.
Le président polonais sortant, le conservateur et populiste Andrzej Duda, a été réélu avec une faible majorité pour un nouveau mandat de 5 ans. Il se retrouve à la tête d'une Pologne divisée et devra faire face à une opposition renouvelée et plus dynamique. Les détails de Fanny Bussière-McNicol.
Andrzej Sebastian Duda.
Le chef de la commission électorale de Pologne confirme les résultats des sondages la veille à la sortie des urnes. Le président Andrzej Duda est reconduit au pouvoir avec 51% des voix devant son opposant libéral Rafał Trzaskowski. Le report en raison de la pandémie de ces élections, qui devaient se tenir en mai, aura permis au parti d'opposition Coalition civique de mettre de l'avant un candidat, le maire de Varsovie, et de l'entraîner dans une remontée spectaculaire des intentions de vote. Mais ça n'aura pas été suffisant pour déloger le président sortant. Entouré de ses supporters, Andrzej Duda s'en réjouit et tend la main à ses détracteurs. Je vous demande de m'aider à rassembler les Polonais à nouveau, lance le président désigné. Parce qu'il l'a remporté, oui, mais il s'en est fallu peu pour que son adversaire au deuxième tour ne le coiffe au poteau. La Pologne est donc divisée. D'un côté, le président Duda, avec sa vision idéologique de droite, mais ses programmes sociaux généreux, recueille l'appui des électeurs des régions rurales et de plus de 50 ans, alors que son opposant libéral a plus d'avantages aux plus jeunes et aux citadins, comme l'explique la professeure de sciences politiques à l'Université de Montréal, Magdalena Dębicka.
On a deux Polonnes quasiment déjà déchirées, comme on peut voir avec les résultats de cette élection. C'est un déchirement, un clivage qui est sur des valeurs sociétales, donc quelque chose qui n'est pas très facile à réconcilier, notamment entre les pro-choix, pro-vie, des questions des mariages homosexuels.
Cet homme homosexuel de Varsovie est d'ailleurs atterré par le résultat des élections, puisque le président réélu a promis de modifier la Constitution pour interdire l'adoption par les couples de même sexe. Nous nous sentons impuissants. La Pologne est divisée en deux moitiés qui ne peuvent pas se réconcilier, indique-t-il. À nouveau, la politologue Magdalena Dębicka.
La politique polonaise est extrêmement polarisée. Il manque de dialogue. Est-ce que ça peut changer maintenant suite à ces élections? On ne peut qu'espérer que le deuxième mandat du président Duda va marquer un changement.
C'est ce qu'espère aussi l'ex-maire de Varsovie, comme il l'a dit plus tôt lors de son discours de défaite en s'adressant à Andrzej Duda. J'espère que lorsque vous avez dit que le deuxième mandat serait différent, qu'il le sera vraiment, réclame le candidat défait. Mais la sociologue experte de l'Europe de l'Est, Geneviève Zubriski, doute que le président change de cap. Surtout qu'il s'agit de la 3e victoire consécutive de sa formation après les élections européennes de mai 2019 et les élections parlementaires qui ont suivi en octobre.
Alors, avec la réélection du président Duda, le Parti droit et justice se sent tout à fait légitimé dans ses priorités et puis dans son programme idéologique de droite. Ça leur donne main libre maintenant pour mener à terme certaines réformes qu'ils avaient déjà commencé et puis qu'ils essayaient de poursuivre. Quoique les votes ont été très divisés et que c'est très serré comme résultat, ça leur donne un mandat assez fort pour pouvoir poursuivre leur démarche. Et ça, c'est inquiétant pour la démocratie en Pologne et puis pour la place de la Pologne au sein de l'Union européenne.
Le président Duda devra composer avec une opposition renouvelée et plus mobilisée jusqu'au prochain test pour son parti ultra-conservateur et eurosceptique lors des élections locales et parlementaires de 2023.
C'était un compte-rendu de Fanny Bussière-McNicol.
Ici Radio-Canada Première, du cœur aux idées.
Ça fait déjà quelques reportages qu'on diffuse dans le cadre de cette série, vous le savez, avec nos partenaires des radios francophones publiques, RFI, Radio France, la RTBF et RTS. Nous partons à la rencontre de ceux que la crise sanitaire a bousculé. Aujourd'hui, nous restons au Québec, où la crise de la COVID-19 a forcé beaucoup de chefs d'entreprise à s'adapter à une nouvelle réalité. Il y en a qui ont saisi l'occasion pour réinventer leur modèle d'affaires. C'est ce qu'a fait la jeune entrepreneure montréalaise Taïna Chalifou, alias, vous la connaissez peut-être sous ce sobriquet, Coffee Queen. Notre journaliste Philippe-Antoine Saunier est allé à sa rencontre.
Taïna Chalifou nous accueille dans un atelier de réparation de machines à café. C'est ici qu'elle brasse une partie de ses affaires.
Moi, j'importe de nappes en Italie, des ecopods de café, donc des pods qui sont biodégradables, ainsi que des machines de tranche qui sont sur le point en fait, d'être connectées et intelligentes. Et on était spécialisé dans la tranche bureau ainsi que dans la tranche de chaîne de restauration. Arrive 2020 et du jour au lendemain, l'ensemble de notre clientèle restauration ainsi que bureau nous a tous contactés.
In the United States for a lot of things. And it seems that they were surveyed about 40% of families reported that they had at least 3 types of what you would call junk or snack food, comfort food in their pantries. There's a little bit of that thing of, okay, we're in lockdown. Let's just get whatever we want and put it in the house, and then we'll just try to police ourselves as we eat. We know how we are, though. And a lot of us have been given to bad habits and are now only starting to realize, hey, probably time to buy that pair of tennis shoes and go outside, as we discussed last week. I love how running shoes are also up as chocolate sales are up. And by the way, everything in moderation. But meanwhile, in the UK, supermarkets are set to remove chocolate from their displays at the stores. There's a big campaign throughout the UK to try to eat healthier.
Even during the pandemic.
Especially during the pandemic. And they say the sales of chocolate have completely plummeted in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. But
because it costs money, it's something you need, it's something you want. It's a drug.
So interesting.
Yeah, this is all coronavirus figures.
So, do you think possibly that, during the pandemic, maybe we're reaching for some comfort food or whatever that makes us feel good?
Yeah.
But, I mean, just to take the UK and US as examples, they have, opposing consumer behavior.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about alcohol consumption. I haven't looked up those figures. I thought, let's stay with one vice for the day. I'm gonna go ahead and assume the UK is probably outdoing Americans on the alcohol, but I could be way wrong. Apologies to all my UK friends.
What about here in China? What's the vice for us?
I would assume it's hot pot. I mean, I don't have any paper to prove this, but I think hot pot is on everybody's menu when they're isolating alone at home. Because in my home, we had hot pot multiple times, even when we were not allowed to go out. I mean, we had those broth or packaged broth delivered to our doorstep, and then we just cooked hot pot at home. Also, I think there's kind of some kind of thrill to eat junk food in the midst of it. I mean, I remember risking it and walking outside of the community to a nearby McDonald's to get chicken burgers.
Yeah.
And I did this 2 days in a row until I had diarrhea.
And wow.
And we thought it was worth it.
Yeah.
It's kind of I was engaged in sin, the kind of sentiment.
Well, yeah, and you bring up a good point, not the diarrhea. That's a good point, but I think the better point was, well, first of all, this stuff is addictive. If you have fast food on Monday, you're going to want it on Tuesday. That's because there's sugar in this, and there's all kinds of, toxic stuff that...
He learned this from a black man.
Chocolate's a beautiful thing, and I would consider it a rare treat. Once in a while, I like a taste of it, but to be buying it in just piles by the ton, it does say something about immediate, instant gratification. And maybe in America right now, since the pandemic numbers are so high, lockdown has been going on for so much longer than anywhere else in the world, you can sort of let them off the hook as far as they want to indulge in a vice a little bit longer because, hey, I'm at home, I'm stressed, I got to be on Zoom for this office meeting, I got nowhere to go, there's no bar, let me get a chocolate bar.
Ah.
Hey.
Nice one.
Wordplay for you.
Nice one. I wonder if that has something to do with just with the bigger packets, then it's usually cheaper. But also, everything is just plus size in the U.S. compared with European folks or what we have here in China. And if you compare with what we have here in Atlanta, what we get here.
None of us should be buying snacks in bulk, I guess, right? That's probably one thing that shouldn't be even available in such a thing. But it's easy, it's cheap to make, there's a high markup on it, it's addictive. End of story.
Well, what about the emotional aspect of things? Do you think that a lot of it is that we need that emotional comfort, or we're reaching for that now when so much in life just seems so uncertain?
Well, that's it. Yeah, you summed it up. I mean, that's why they call it comfort food. You seek almost a not safety, but what's the word? Not comfort, not safety. What? Maybe it is
consolation.
Yeah, something like that. Like just
dopamine
response something familial or nostalgic. Thank you. That's it. Take me back to a more innocent time. Snickers bar or M&M or what, apple pie, whatever it is, And if you are around family and you're able to sort of, you're kind of aiding and abetting each other when it comes to junk food, you can see why sales have spiked considerably in the last 5 months.
I also think whether this has anything to do with the fact that people are not dining outside. So, have you seen my family? There's this belief that we are already not dying outside. We're already eating healthy. So what's wrong with eating something a little bit of a junk food?
Right.
So maybe no harm.
Until you go overboard.
Diarrhea. What the fuck?
I don't guarantee that they're eating them all, and certainly they're buying more, but I'm not sure they're all finished.
It's very interesting because it's really easy to engage in mindless eating while watching a show.
Well, that's it too, and people are on their couches.
And you finish up the whole big fat packet and, end up plus size after the pandemic. And that just happened without you even checking. And that could happen. And but also, some people have been very good on the way they think, and we're going to think like self-policing or whatever you call it. That maybe you can just take one piece or two pieces out of the packet.
What's your favorite junk food? Tell us, we're running out of time. I want to know what it is.
Bye, guys. I will tell you next time. How's that? That's it for today's roundtable. Bye.
Welcome to Roundtable, coming to you live from Beijing.
Semble prédominant dans le fait qu'il puisse être associé à Martin Carpentier. Il faut comprendre aussi que depuis 5 jours, ça ne veut pas dire que ce sont des éléments qui sont là de façon contemporaine.
Marie-Pierre, il faut aussi parler de cette scène déchirante qu'on a vue hier de la part de la mère des 2 fillettes.
Une scène difficile à regarder, difficile à entendre. Une mère, Amélie Lemieux, la mère de Romy et Nora Carpentier, qui s'est présentée au Parc des Chutes de la Chaudière pour se recueillir au mémorial qui est en place là, depuis quelques jours. Elle était accompagnée d'une 30aine de membres de sa famille. Elle s'est adressée brièvement aux médias, à sa demande d'ailleurs, et pendant son allocution, une dizaine de mains là, qui la retenaient pour ne pas qu'elle s'écroule de peine. On peut l'entendre, Amélie Lemieux.
Dès le premier souffle, je vous ai aimé inconditionnellement. Vous êtes toute ma vie.
Alors, Amélie Lemieux ne fera pas d'autres commentaires. Elle veut maintenant vivre son deuil en paix.
Merci, Marie-Pierre.
Au revoir.
Trop de faux pas et de mea culpa. L'opposition à Ottawa estime que Justin Trudeau a présenté trop d'excuses depuis qu'il est en poste parce qu'il manque souvent de jugement. Le premier ministre a reconnu une erreur dans l'affaire Uni, un organisme de charité qui a entretenu des liens financiers avec sa mère et son frère et qui avait obtenu un important contrat du gouvernement. Il a demandé pardon aux Canadiens, mais les conservateurs et les bloquistes n'ont pas l'intention de passer l'éponge. Les précisions de Louis Blouin.
L'affaire prenait de l'ampleur de jour en jour. Le premier ministre du Canada sort finalement de son mutisme pour faire son mea culpa.
J'aurais pas dû être impliqué dans ces discussions et je m'en excuse profondément.
Justin Trudeau admet une erreur et affirme qu'il aurait dû se récuser des discussions entourant l'octroi d'un important contrat de 20 millions de dollars sans appel d'offres. Au cœur de la controverse, la famille Trudeau et cette organisation. La mère et le frère du premier ministre ont reçu un total de 300 000 $ pour avoir prononcé des discours.
Je ne savais pas à quel point ils avaient été rémunérés par l'organisme uni. Je regrette.
Ces regrets sont loin de voir l'opposition. Le député conservateur Jacques Gould.
Le premier ministre a une excuse facile, c'est ce
Son
que
parti réclame plus d'explications et un témoignage de Justin Trudeau en comité parlementaire. En pleine crise sanitaire, le premier ministre devrait se retirer de ses fonctions temporairement, selon le chef du Bloc québécois, Yves-François Blanchet.
à la gestion de la crise, qu'il fasse un pas de côté, que la vice-première ministre...
Le commissaire à l'éthique a lancé une enquête en matière de conflit d'intérêts. Lui qui a déjà blâmé 2 fois Justin Trudeau dans les dossiers de l'AGACAN et de SNC-Lavalin. Une tendance inquiétante selon l'expert en éthique.
Que d'avoir l'habitude d'enfreindre les dispositions éthiques.
Justin Trudeau a l'intention de ses fonctions. Selon lui, ce sera aux Canadiens de juger de ses actions. Ici Louis Blouin, Radio-Canada, Ottawa.
On fait toutes les mesures possibles pour rendre tout sécuritaire. Puis là, on va faire jouer la police aussi. Puis avoir une amende.
Cette commerçante, comme bien d'autres au Québec, accepte difficilement d'être obligée de forcer ses clients à porter un couvre-visage dans son commerce.
Reporting live, Jamie Poster, 680 News.
You're already speaking Latin like we don't know this British
English. Just yet for stage 3. There are more options available as of this morning for family outings here in the city. Our Kevin Meiser joins us live from the Hyde Park Zoo with the story and reaction. Kevin.
You know it's fucking raining?
Yeah, Paul, not sure if they've exactly tidied the place up or not, but the animals here in the Hyde Park Zoo can have human company over for a visit and games starting this morning. In about an hour, that can happen. Signs are actually posted here at the gate advising people they should maintain a safe physical distance from other humans while saying hi to the llamas, emus, peacocks, bison, and capybaras who have been up until now off limits due to the pandemic restrictions. Now,
Put his ass on the prison. On the prison.
Conservatories are going to be opening today. Admittance will be restricted, or at least allowing people in stages to make sure that there is safe physical distancing and not a crowd situation inside those conservatories. Reporting live at Hyde Park Zoo, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
You are not at the fucking goddamn Hyde Park Zoo right now. You want
on whether federal COVID-19
You standing in the parking lot in the rain. Doing what? Drinking cold Tim Hortons coffee?
Harming the country's future economy. Terry Penwell of the Canadian Press says the numbers shift when a partisan lens is applied.
Fucking right.
63% of those who identified as conservative and 67% of Bloc Québécois supporters think the federal pandemic aid programs need to be pared back. By contrast, 53%
No, look what's happening in Alberta and Quebec.
61%
You
of
fucking stupid motherfucker.
This week, the Liberal government announced one of the benefit programs, a federal wage
Even the
subsidy,
Liberals
will be
are like,
extended
"Are you
until
serious?
the end of
Look at
this
this
year.
list."
In releasing the deficit projections last week, the Liberals did not set out a plan for how or when they might balance the books.
60 News Time 607 as the province continues to discuss options for students returning to school this fall.
Moving truck, the
The new
garbage
poll
truck, the
finds a
snowplow, the
majority of
drive-by guy.
Ontarians support a mix of online and in-class learning. A campaign research survey conducted for the Toronto Star finds some 51% support the hybrid model, 18% prefer the in-class model, and 11% support online only. Also found that 71% of respondents feel teachers should be mandated to use live streaming when students are learning from home.
Holy shit.
In terms of how online
That's
schooling
big.
went following the shutdowns in March, almost 20% said their kids' experience was excellent or good.
All these parents are going to look
26%
up
said
the
it was
rules,
fair
find
or
out. They
poor.
don't have to put their kids in the hybrid
55%
program.
are unsure. The Education
And
Minister
you
Steve
can't
Lecce
argue
said
with
he will
them
announce later
using
this month what
government
school will
issue
look like
iPad
this September.
Do
This
the
is
government
680
issue
News.
work?
3 men have been taken to hospital following a shooting at a North York plaza. 2 of them are in serious condition. 680's Camp Dorrit reports.
I'd be in
Police
a
are searching for
serious
3
state
masked
doing
men
it.
who took off
Shot
from the
at.
scene in a black SUV sometime
shit
after
like
8:30 Monday night.
That's
Police
always
say
good
at
to
least one
like
person opened
shit
fire in
shouting
the York Woods
like
Plaza
before
on
you
Jamie
go out
Jessup
at
Finch.
all. I don't care if
Inspector
you
Norm
talk,
Proctor says
whatever.
numerous casings have already been found.
3 individuals were hit by gunfire.
The start of the work week not ending the violence in the GTA. Friday afternoon saw the start of 8
Even if they
different
miss.
shootings in just 48 hours. 2 people now dead. Toronto's deputy police chief called the violence
I would
concerning
get the
the mayor
hospital
deeming
and
it
be like, oh, you got
unacceptable.
shot
There
and
have
say
Oh,
already been
something. No.
more shootings than this time last year. I'm Cam Dorrit.
60 News Time 608 as the city extends its ban on
I'm like,
outdoor
no, I
festivals
didn't
and
get
large
shot. I set
gatherings
myself
until
up
the
at
end of September.
COVID-19.
It's launching a
Shit
drive-in
myself.
entertainment
And
program.
shooting is
Drive-In
27.
TO will provide some movie screenings, concerts, and other
So are
festivities
you
at
aware
no
you didn't
cost to
even get hit with any
attendees.
bullets?
The city's working with a number of
That's what I
Toronto's
mean.
leading film
Okay.
curators, including Hot Dogs
Sir,
and
your
Tip,
COVID
to
test came
provide
back
different
negative.
content. The events will take place at 4 locations throughout the city, including Ontario Place. Mayor Tory will be at City View Drive-In on Polson Street today to officially open that location.
Investigators in California say they have found the body
Are you
of
born?
police star
Drug
Naya
dealing and
Rivera.
shootings in
680's
line?
Karen
Oh,
Seolan
some
has the
carjackings.
details.
Hey, it's
Teams have been
prostitution. What the hell?
scouring a Southern California
The
lake
fuck are you
using
opening?
helicopters, ATVs, boats, drones, dogs, and
You all
dolphins.
judge criticized
the
that for.
northeastern portion of the lake,
Oh,
near the surface of the
where?
water.
The Ventura County Sheriff saying there was no
Angel
indication of
Spirit to
foul
check
play
foods,
or that this
Rob
was a
Ford
suicide.
Hamilton's in the
Rivera
circle.
rose
You
to fame
idiots,
and
what are you
glee.
doing?
Her co-stars and family members photographed
We have
linking
been
hands on the
approached
bank of
by
Lake
certain
Highland,
parties
where
that
the 33-year-old
suggest
actress presumably drowned.
fucked up.
Her 4-year-old son found alone in their rented boat. Hours after the pair went for a swim last
Boat
Wednesday,
rentals should be totally
his mom
outlawed
never
everywhere.
returned.
Everywhere.
He told
Boat
investigators
rentals.
that he looked back and
Because
saw her
that's how you lose
disappear
boats.
under the surface of the water.
Rivera's
And
body
people
recovered
but I mean-
exactly 7 years after her co-star, Canadian actor Corey Monteith, was found dead from an accidental overdose.
That's all.
Karen
I thought you were
Seolan.
going to say
60
something
News
like,
Time 610, a big shakeup for Dancing with the
Auto
Stars.
6,
Was always
man.
quick with a joke or turn of phrase. His co-host of Dancing with the Stars.
Auto erotic.
From the woman
Auto.
who has news crews to the people who have a few loose for their score.
And after 15
I don't
years and
understand
28
this. I don't
seasons,
know how to
he's
say
out,
it.
along with co-host
I only
Brian
need to know how to
Anderson.
say
The show
it.
says
That's all
it's going in a
because
new
you're one
creative
of those
direction.
auto
No more who will replace
asphyxiation
them. Dancing with the Stars is
motherfuckers.
scheduled to return this fall. Bergeron has been with the show since the beginning and says in a tweet that it's been an incredible run, the most unexpected gift of his career, finishing with, quote, "Now what am I supposed to do with all these glitter masks?"
Well,
Jason
are you gonna
Higgins at
die?
ABC News, Hollywood.
Is this the same show?
News
You're
Time
probably going to
610.
die.
Opening up.
Slowly and safely.
Everything you need to know about our new normal.
We're here for you before, during, and after.
This is 680 News.
Hey Ontario, our community is opening again, and the experts at Provision are committed to meeting your eye care needs safely.
All I heard
including
was,
between all exams.
Well, I love chocolate, and the American guy going, I prefer dark myself.
Kids with spring purchase.
Well, what would I know?
Most insurance plans. Arrange your family's eye exams at coolvision.ca. Valid prescription required. Valid at participating Canadian locations. Taxes not included. Some restrictions may
Fred's going to
apply.
restrict the sale of chocolate because they don't own the chocolate plantations no more. That's the real reason. That's the real reason. Everything that happens like that, when Britain no longer dominated the slave trade, is what they decided as a society that slavery wasn't
Right
nice
now on the
anymore.
westbound Gardner Expressway,
It's no
approaching
longer
the Lakeshore
acceptable.
ramp, all lanes are now blocked off because of this collision. Emergency crews are on
It
the
wasn't like
scene.
the British
Westbound
stopped and
Gardner
everybody
is
else
quite slow
started.
as you approach that issue, so you definitely want to leave yourself lots of extra time if you are
Everybody else
using the
started.
westbound Gardner
Everybody
pass.
said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that."
Eastbound on the
Everybody
Gardner
said, "Oh,
Expressway,
we
it
don't
slows well
understand."
from approaching Park Lawn to approaching the Humber Bridge, and eastbound
When we did
401,
understand, we said, "Fuck yeah,
those
buddy."
issues that we had from east of Warden to approaching McCowan and the Express, they've all cleared. The construction has cleared, so all lanes are now open through there, but we still have East 401 at Victoria Park Express.
It's
Two
open
left
to
lanes
their
closed
butt,
off.
really?
That's for construction. It's from
I was gonna say
approaching
something
Victoria
about
Park and the Express, and then approaching Brimley, the collector to Express transfer lanes. We've got the left lane closed off for some construction, so minor delay through there as well.
It's open to their
Westbound
butt,
side
eh?
of the 403, no issues. Westbound
You used to the
QEW.
apostrophe where you shouldn't
The
have.
left lane is closed off. That is all because of ongoing construction. Now, at this time, I'm not seeing much of a delay as you pass through there. And if you're eastbound on the QEW, the volume delays through Cawthra, they have eased off. This week, final paving begins on Yonge Street in Richmond Hill from Highway 7 to 19th Avenue, Gamble Road. Be alert, be safe, slow down. Details at vivanex.com. Next report, 6:21. Here's a check of the forecast. We are starting the day in the teens with low humidity and a light northwest wind. It's a comfortable day overall. Plenty of sunshine. Guaranteed high 28 degrees, 19 for the low. It's getting warmer. And then tomorrow, sun and cloud will increase that humidity. 28 will feel like 34. Right now, we've got some clouds. 18 appears, then 19 at 680 News. Guaranteed high today, 28. 680 News time, 6:13.
Nova Scotia iTrade Market Minute.
Over to Mike Apple at the 680 News Business Center. Mike.
Hey, Catherine. Good morning. We're looking at markets kicking off the Tuesday trade with a little bit of a mixed showing. On one hand, we've got a bounce back for Wall Street with the Dow futures up better than 100 points, but the European markets and Asia Pacific trading overnight, while they were all to the downside following quite the swing that we saw in Monday's session on the North American equity markets. Gains early, losses late, and that negativity seems to be carrying over a little bit into what we're seeing in the Eurozone right now, with the Frankfurt DAX index down 1.5%. Earlier today, the Tokyo Nikkei lost 0.8%. Getting some big bank earnings in out of the States this morning, and that could change the tone yet again for the trading day. Price for oil down 26 cents, 39.80. Gold is sinking by $14 at $1,800 the ounce, and the Canadian dollar down 10%, 73.37 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
Direct invest with Scotia iTrade. Get started in 3 easy steps and begin your investing journey from home today. Learn more at scotiaitrade.com.
Still ahead on 680 News.
COVID claims another establishment. One of the first LGBTQ bars to thrive outside of the gay village won't be reopening.
680 News time, 6:14.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's Cars for Kids. It's quick and easy.
Well, everything in this jurisdiction is about having the money. Everything's illegal till you have the money. You make enough money doing it, and they can't stop you. You can get whatever you do legalized. Everything. It's happened with everything.
Has one of the best selections of brand name air conditioning products in Canada at a fraction of regular retail prices. Whether you're looking for a window or portable air conditioner, small or large fans, air purifiers, or just an inexpensive dehumidifier, we have something that fits your budget.
I want a
Visit
mid-range
stores in Southern Ontario.
No one's going to call me cheap, but at the same point, I don't want to seem, what's the word, not excessive, but opulent,
daily sunny this morning with a few clouds for this afternoon as we head to a 680 News guaranteed high of 28.
Did he have? Oh, the cheap shitty one. No, he had the $10,000 one. No, I'm going to be right in the middle.
Here are the top stories right now.
The mail reports the border will reportedly remain closed to non-essential travel until at least August 21st as cases of COVID-19
this one has decided to stop running. It stopped running for a year at a time.
Toronto just yet, but both the Riverdale Farm and Hyde Park Zoo will reopening this morning to the public.
You're lying.
After sports.
Another grim COVID-19 milestone in India. South Africa among the world's 10 biggest outbreaks, and Hong Kong announces new social distancing measures and travel restrictions. Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590, the fan, Rob Long.
Maple Leafs forward Austin Matthews confirmed on day one of training camp that he indeed tested positive for COVID-19.
Pretty much asymptomatic. Felt for the most part pretty normal for the 2 weeks, but obviously did my quarantine and feeling healthy now, so it's all good.
He's the first NHL player to speak about his diagnosis publicly. Meanwhile, the NHL says that there were a total of 30 confirmed positive COVID-19 test results in Phase 2 of its return-to-play protocol. While the NBA says that 2 players have tested positive since teams arrived in the Orlando bubble. Both players have left the campus to self-quarantine at home. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and first-round pick
the whole rest of the team's still there.
To join their teammates in Toronto for summer camp yesterday. The two took part in batting practice. Tonight, it's the first of 2 straight inter-squad games that will be broadcast on TV.
He said he was they quoted him as saying he was mostly asymptomatic. You can't be mostly. You're asymptomatic or you're symptomatic. You might have minor symptoms, but you are no longer asymptomatic if you have symptoms. One is retard saying something about 2 weeks. It's not 2 weeks from when you test positive. It's 2 weeks from when you're not sick anymore. If you're asymptomatic, when the fuck is that? When does that start? I'm sure they'll tell us in CRI. Oh, wait, I got coffee. I can move now. What? Ow. Fuck, man. These are like little pieces of glass.
What's more fascinating is the rise of the stay-home economy post-COVID. So what does it mean? It means the reshoring of consumption spending overseas, which will be a structured support for China's domestic consumption, domestic economic cycle over the next few years. So basically, Chinese policymakers stated that China should uphold domestic market as mainstay for new opportunities. China is shaping a new economic pattern, which is dominated by the domestic economic cycle. In Mandarin, people call it the 国内大循环. Basically, this means.
Oh, that time you don't pause, you fucking.
Geopolitical trend in post-COVID multi-polar.
Basically means what?
And
damn it.
Also, a lot of government initiatives, like in China, it is promoting domestic cycle by opening up initiatives such as Highland Duty-Free Island. So with the COVID-19 reducing international travel, Chinese consumers will probably ratio more than $260 billion of the offshore spending on things like high-end cars, luxury goods, education, leisure, and travel to onshore consumption. And if China is also committed to opening up, giving the foreign firms the market access in onshore consumer market, I would say it will encourage more multinational firms to adopt in China, for China strategy in view of the nation's booming consumption market with additional support from reshoring. That's it.
Very interesting. Finally, what do you think geopolitical tension is being played out during this special time?
Well, I think the time is coming now for the 3T. That's the trade, tax, and the tight hands. That 3T is basically the driving forces for globalization, for tax progress over the last 30 years. But now with this rising inequality in developed economies, combined with the geopolitical tension associating in key economic areas, with Europe facing a difficult balancing act, globalization, and they could pose structural growth challenges to most countries in the world. For example, some countries are talking about economic self-sufficiency versus Let me come in. I am a little alone.
What is it you wish?
I will talk with you. Let me come in. I will sit here by the window. I ask you to do the same.
I prefer to remain standing. What do you want?
You,
nothing then?
You did not know I have been watching from your yard since midday yesterday. But this morning and tonight I followed you.
You ping the router for 2 minutes, and then for 2 minutes it's like, 2 minutes it's like that.
I haven't said that, and so I don't ask him if I could have a... He said I could have a small loaf, but he had not taken me last night, and that if I came by tomorrow, he'd keep one for me.
For a small loaf of bread, he would sell you tomorrow, Louis, in advance.
Louis.
Your enemy. If anything should happen to you, it would not be because of me. I have come to ask a favor.
You have been crying and sullen and frightening me for 2 days, and you ask me a favor? I am alone. What favor can I do for a man?
I may be of service to you, since there is no king anymore. Announce an escape from the Carmelite Abbey, who escaped from the massacres there by...
No priest here?
Then you should be more careful. People climb these stairs to take part in a mass. Masses are forbidden. Tomorrow there will be others who will climb the stairs. That of your honored guest, Father Laurent. If I had ever thought of betraying you to the Committee for Public Safety, I could have done so long ago.
It's one interruption after the fucking other. Connection's unstable, but it's not. It is, but it's not. Nothing is freezing up. It's got to keep crashing. Next, you're gonna.
I'm glad the snow is stopped, Father. I would not want you to catch a cold when so much depends upon your health.
Simon Boy, tell us what the fucking business world really doing.
That are those that we would have seen over the last couple of years, but we're getting back. I mean, at the low point in China, you know, we were in single-digit occupancies. Most of our entities do that in times of crisis and times of disruption, there's opportunity, and that opportunity is to distinguish ourselves, is to differentiate ourselves, is to strategically want to stay with us so that we're successful in attracting Chinese
customers. What the fuck is happening here? I can't fix it. It's some jackass pinging me. The only way to get the IP for them to do this particular thing.
Huawei reports 13% growth in first half revenue, a relatively modest expansion.
Fucking hell, man. Don't tell me this shit's not fucking on purpose, too. They keep running around back and forth the back of my shoe like I'm not going to be able to see them. No, it's got to take 10 minutes. It irritate the... You're going to fucking die, pussy. Fucking white people fucking bug from a white people fucking country. Oh, holy fuck, eh? Pussy.
Over to Michelle in Hong Kong. There are growing concerns about a new wave of coronavirus infections here. Tech stocks led the fall. Index heavyweight Tencent down around 3% at the close. We also saw a profit taking in Geely stocks that enjoyed days of gains but finished around 5% lower today. There were some bright spots though, even amid a pandemic. Shanghai Fosun Pharma was near a 2-year high at one point. That's on news of progress in a COVID-19